Touch my skin and left your mark. You knew all the words to say. Held the strings tied to my heart, pulled and pushed away. My friends don't bring you up no more. I'm sure yours don't mention me. I remember how we were before. It don't feel like memories. Why can't I get over you? Your love is a fire, still high on the fumes. I've done everything I know I can do. I'm still love on you, I'm still love, I'm still love on you, on you, on you, on you. I'm still love on you, on you, on you. Why can't I get over you? Your love is a fire, still high on the fumes. I've done everything I know I can do. I'm still in love on you, I'm still in love, I'm still in love. Do you ever ask what if? Do you almost call? Am I the only one who feels crazy? 'Cause I still miss it all. Why can't I get over you? Your love is a fire, still high on the fumes. I've done everything I know I can do. I'm still in love on you, I'm still in love on you. Bags underneath my heart, all of these sleepless nights without you in my life. Nothing will happen, try to get you off my mind. There's no good reason why. I'm still in love on you, on you, on you, on you. yours here right now. The kind of night we dream about. Oh, 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 oh. It's beautiful. Time flies when you get it right, so hold on tight to me. Love like we never grew up, and live like you just get one tonight. We're kings and queens. One blink and it's over. Wake up and we're older tonight. We're kings and queens. Stop, take a breath, close your eyes, remember this. Oh, 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 it's beautiful. Love like we never grew up, and live like you just get one tonight. We're kings and queens. One blink and it's over. Wake up and we're older tonight. We're kings and queens. Time flies when you get it right, so hold on tight to me. Love like we never grew up, and live like you just get one tonight. We're kings and queens. One blink and it's over. Wake up and we're older tonight. We're kings and queens.
Hey everybody, this is Carl with Carl's Opinion, and we're starting our after Super Bowl, post Super Bowl live call-in show. And let me get the number up there for you guys. So if you want to call in, you can. There we go. Boom. 775-273-8970. And let's go ahead and get this up here as well. There you go. There's the live call-in number. If you want to appear by video link, with a live video stream, you can send me an email to ca2jogger@gmail.com, and I'll send you a link. It's real simple. Punch in your username, and then just go ahead, and after that, let me just turn this stream gain down a little bit. There you go. And then after I send you the link, just go ahead and hit join call. It's like really that simple. So that's all you got to do. We got some news to get to tonight. We talked about the economy earlier, and let's go ahead and talk about what's going on in Venezuela. Kind of a little behind the scenes story. This is from the Wall Street Journal. They have an excellent newspaper, and they have it set up so that you can loaded up here on YouTube, and they make it very simple to, you don't have to go through any kind of weird adjustments or anything like that. They have an e-newspaper for you. So there it is right there, and let's go ahead and get me on here. All right, so China counts the cost. Let's bring me down a little bit. I apologize, hold on. There we go. All right. China counts the cost of its big bet on Venezuela. This is an interesting story. This is the kind of stuff, like the Wall Street Journal does, the kind of stuff that you don't get just from watching the mainstream media, show the big crowds and everything like that. So here's the story. When China hatched the first of a series of oil for loan agreements with Venezuela in 2007, again, the economy is doing good, oil prices are high. China is like, hey, we can loan some money, we can make some good interest rates on this, and not to mention, the main point of that, of course, is that if they default, then you can kind of get on in and have a lot of leverage, saying, well, you're in default to your loan. We got security for the loan, namely your oil businesses, all the products you have there, and of course, the Venezuelans can say we'll get lost. You're not touching our stuff, but still, it gives them a lot of leverage. So anyway, China hatched the first of a series of oil for loans agreement with Venezuela back in 2007. It seemed like a perfect match. Venezuela had the world's biggest oil reserve. China was poised to become, here we go, the biggest energy consumer. 12 years and more than $50 billion billion dollars in loans later, a political crisis in Venezuela is threatening China's payout and drawing Beijing into a proxy standoff as it supports the Venezuelan leader the U.S. is intent on toppling. It is a conflict with Washington that Beijing could do without. Trust me, they're not happy. I mean, you got $50 billion on the line. Plus, China consumes a lot of oil. They get it from Iran. They get it from Somalia as well. And they're moving into Africa big time for oil and for other products. And, and Venezuela is one of their other sources of oil. So it is a conflict with Washington that Beijing could do without amid efforts to resolve a trade dispute that is weighing on the Chinese economy. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So, because they're in a trade war with us, on the whole tariff thing, and if everybody thinks, oh, this is going to be bad for us, it's much worse for China. Again, our debt is huge. Okay, it's $20 trillion, but our economy is $20 trillion. So we're at 100%, our debt is 100% of our GDP, and that's bad, but China, who everybody says is, oh, they're so great, they're so much better than we are, they're not in debt. Their debt is 150 times. I'm sorry, so that'd be crazy. They'd be dead. Their debt is 150% of their GDP. So it's bad for us, but trust me, it's even worse for them. Oh, here we got some people in here. Hey, Nunya, how you doing? The great douchebag. Great douchebag, Laura. And, the great douchebag, you missed it on Axe's site today. You would have loved it. There were tons of trolls. He got like 10 or 11 down likes. I had to get rid of a few people myself. It was great. Hey, links to Don. How you doing there? Let's see. How you doing there, Mr. Links? Let's see. We'll make Mr. Links moderator. There you go. Yeah, you do a good job today. Links, you grab one guy on Axe's site, and then I kind of finished him off. So you caught him before I did. That was good because I didn't see him. And then when I saw your notice on him, then I went back and looked at what else he had to say, and I realized he had to go. But hey, good to see you guys in the chat today. So yeah, if you want to call in, there's a call-in number, 775-273-8970. Discuss any topic. Don't worry about what the topic is. Tonight I'm going off the Wall Street Journal. I know you guys know I normally go off the Washington Times, but I'm going with the Wall Street Journal today, and I'm just talking about kind of behind the scenes with Venezuela. Like, there's all the front end story we see on the mainstream media, but I like the back stories. Like, okay, why is China backing Venezuela? Well, the mainstream media really doesn't give you in-depth analysis. Well, they're backing them because they got $50 billion in loans out to Venezuela, and Venezuela is a huge supplier of oil to China, and China's trying to build up their economy, their military. They're like oil hungry. They're in Somalia. I think they might get oil from Nigeria. They're looking to build a pipeline, if I'm not mistaken, across the continent of Africa right now. And I know they get oil from Iran also. but Venezuela, has the largest oil reserve supposedly in the world, and now China's finding themselves in a mess because, and it's almost like they have to back Maduro because they're afraid if the new guy gets in, he's not going to honor the contracts. So I mean, I'm sure there needs to be some finagling going on between us and the Chinese and this new guy. Letting the new guy letting China know, through us maybe, hey, don't worry, I'll honor the contracts, and yeah, we want to sell you oil because we need the money. So, then maybe China can stop being so resistant to Maduro going. I mean, China's looking out for their own interests. I totally understand. They got contracts with this guy, and the last thing they want is a new guy to get in and just say, "Screw you, China. We're not going to honor any contracts. We're not going to honor how much the debt we owe you. We're not going to pay it back. That kind of thing." So let's continue on with the story. Venezuela's deepening crisis is also damaging China's credibility in Latin America while fueling criticism abroad and debate at home about its overseas lending. Yeah, everybody thinks we're the only people who mess up when it comes to loaning foreign countries money. Nah, Chinese can do it too. Chinese people do it too. A debate at home about its overseas lending, as other nations also face debt problems linked to Chinese loans. In public, China has joined Russia in standing by Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro after the U.S. and several other nations recognized opposition leader Juan Guaido as head of state in January. At a Lunar New Year reception last week in Caracas, Chinese Ambassador Li Barong, and I apologize, congratulated Mr. Maduro on his new term in office, offering to exchange views on governance more closely. Behind the scenes, though, there is deep concern in Beijing. Well, of course. I mean, Chinese are businessmen. There are deep concerns in Beijing. Yeah, I mean, about why its Venezuelan venture backfired and how it can salvage its investment, according to experts on relations between the two countries. Some of whom said China was likely building channels to Mr. Guaido's camp. Yeah, because that's funny. I just was saying something like that. My guess is if they're building a back channel to Guaido, they're probably going through us. And, this is a good time for us to kind of lend a hand because, we're in negotiations with them right now. There was an article last week where China was going to buy, I don't know, it was this huge number. I'm bad with, commodities markets. So it's like, I don't know, hundreds of tons of soybeans per week, per month, per day, whatever it was. It was a lot of soybeans. It was the largest, going to be the largest ongoing purchase of soybeans by any country in the world from us. So, which is great because, now there's not a big profit margin on soybeans. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not like the soybean farmers are, making, 50% profit on selling. So, I mean, it's agriculture. You don't make a lot of money on agricultural products. But the point is, there's a lot of farmers. We have a lot of farmers in Iowa, the Midwest, et cetera, that depend on that as their crop. These guys aren't necessarily rich, but still they want to be able to sell their goods. So the Chinese, I mean, look, what Trump is doing with China is fantastic. I mean, no one would have ever thought the Chinese would be coming to the table to negotiate. Everybody, because anybody who's ever tried before, albeit they tried kind of wimpily, it's always failed. So the Chinese always just said, "Oh no, leave us alone," and then we generally left them alone because we don't want to, go. No president before Trump wanted to go through what he's going through right now, whether it was Obama or Bush or Clinton. They don't want to go through this. Well, Clinton really didn't have to go through too much because all this started kind of with H.W. Bush, and then Clinton continued it. But Bush, Bush Jr. didn't want to go through this. Obama didn't want to go through this. All the criticism and the economy taking a slight hit, and the Midwest farmers taking a hit. But Trump's, got the balls. He's willing to do it, which is good because now the Chinese are are at the table. Forget coming to the table, and now they're talking about buying a bunch of soybean products from us. I mean, look, they're smart negotiators. You got two good sets of negotiators here. You got the United States under Trump and China under Xing, whatever his name is. I think it's Z. And, they're looking out for their own country's best interests, and that's fine. Adam Smith said it, competing self-interest. Fine. But there is a win-win situation here, or at least where neither side really loses. And that's what Trump's going for. So anyway, my guess is if they are working a back channel to Guaido, figuring, well, hedging their bets, he's going to take over. My guess is it's through the United States because we're having, it's not just that we're like friendly with them; it's that we're having a lot of talks with them. And so, if you don't think this is being brought up in conversation, you're nuts. Of course it is. It's like, by the way, we got that 50 billion over there. If you can maybe help us with that, with this new guy taking over, we can maybe do something over here. That, in fact, maybe that's what that whole soybean thing was about last week. Hey, just thought of that. But yeah, maybe that's why China announced they're going to buy all these soybeans from us, and because they're hoping we'll work a deal with this Gaiudo guy, behind the scenes. Because China's probably figuring we're going to use some kind of not necessarily an invasion, but some kind of military kind of action to help this Maduro find his way out the door. Like help him to the door kind of thing. So, or give Maduro like a golden parachute where he can leave and not have to worry about being prosecuted and sent to the Hague for violations of human rights in his own country. You got to make it easy for these guys to leave. I mean, some people want their ounce of blood, the pint of blood, whatever, but you got to make it easy for these guys to leave. If you make it easy for them to leave, and there was a story today, Sticks and Hammer was covering it, that an Air Force general is already defecting. This is like the start of the crack. The cracks are going to start, happening up here. And let's see who else. Oh, Amy D. Hey, Amy. Hey, Mr. Winters as well. Laura, hey. And everybody else in the chat that I've said hey to already. Happy to have you guys here tonight. Post Super Bowl call-in show. Thanks for stopping by. And let's see what we got here. So, again, let's finish up with this little story. But, again, if you guys want to call in, talk about any topic, that's fine. I'm open. I'm just following the news, what I saw that it looked pretty cool to talk about. But, yeah, whatever you guys want to talk about, it's fine with me. Just, no worries there. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see. So China was likely building channels to Mr. Gaiudo's camp. Beijing maintains close contact with all parties through various means and wants to work with, go to the top of the story, with all sides to facilitate negotiations. Foreign Ministry spokesman Greg Shuang said Friday when asked if the Chinese government was in contact with Mr. Gaiudo. Again, I find this hilarious. Because, again, they're going through us. They're not going through the Europeans. The Europeans aren't going to get anything done for them. They're going to go to the biggest guys on the block. That's us. The biggest guy on the block, Donald Trump, because they know if Donald Trump says, I'll take care of it, then they know they can count on that. When, Donald Trump's negotiating with these guys, they know he's a man of his word. They say, hey, we need some help over here. We'll buy some soybeans. We need some help with this Gaiudo guy to make sure he pays us back and keeps selling us oil. Trump tells them, yeah, no problem. I got this. And Gaiudo is going to need our support big time. In fact, when Trump made even just an announcement publicly and actually, I think, called him on the phone, Gaiudo went ballistic. He was so happy that, President Trump called him on the phone. So, we're the back channel for China. So anyways, the Chinese people saying this. No matter what the situation may involve, our cooperation should not be harmed, Mr. Zhang said. Venezuela still owes Beijing about $20 billion, according to the Chinese Commerce Ministry. I guess they paid back about 30. On top of that, China is the country's second biggest arms supplier behind Russia, and by Beijing's count, had $3.2 billion in direct investments in 2017. Among those are at least 3 joint ventures between China National Petroleum Corp, or CNPC, and Venezuela's state oil company, Petróleos de Venezuela S.A., or PDVSA. The U.S. Treasury imposed sanctions on PDVSA this week, a move that could potentially constrains Maduro government's ability to repay Beijing. Well, there you go. Beijing also recognizes that a U.S.-backed Gaiudo administration might refuse to honor outstanding debts. Here we go. China's Commerce Ministry spelled out this concern on Tuesday. I'm sorry. It's like, we go through so much shit in the world. We get dumped on all the time and bad things happen to us. I don't mind. I don't like finding pleasure in other people's misery, but it's nice to see that it's not just us. Other people get screwed over too, and China included. And everybody needs a little bit of help. And don't worry, they're going to be coming to us for help. And this is only going to help our relationship between the two countries. If we can help them with this deal, that's going to go a long way to, working out our trade negotiations and a whole bunch of other things. Maybe, I'm not saying the South China Sea, that's going to be nasty. But, can help out on some other things. Yep. Did we get a missed call? Let's see. Anyway, if I missed your call, just call back. I saw something came through on my phone. So if I missed your call, just give me a call back. Looks like I missed a call. Let's see. Oh, there it is right there. Hold on. Well, area code 347. Up. Here we go. Area code 347. You're on the air with Carl's Opinion. This is Carl. Go ahead. Oh, hey, Lynx. I just turned you on there. I was screening the call, but yeah, I'll make sure I get you there. Hold on. Let me write down your number so I can put you as a contact in here. Hold on a sec.
Okay, great. Can you please? I want to be a mod too. That's awesome.
Oh, sure. I already did make you a mod. I clicked on it. So the next time you comment, you should see a blue wrench because I did add you as a moderator.
Yay!
347. All right, Links. I got your number down, so I'll add you as a contact in my Skype account. But hey, how you doing? Yeah, I saw you flagged that one guy in a timeout, and then I went back, looked at what else he had to say, and I just went ahead and 86'd him But no, thanks for catching it because I missed that guy as he was coming down the pipe there.
Yeah, you see that shit, right? Ooh, I don't know if I could do that here.
You can.
But you've seen it, right?
Yeah, I saw one guy that you got. Yeah, see you if you look now, you got a little blue wrench. This is Links to Don, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
you got you got a blue wrench in there next to your name.
Okay, great. No, listen, I was on Facebook, and it had something with Cory Booker. When he did a speech or whatever about him going to run for president. He said, "Oh, and I just want to say I miss Obama and his husband." I said, "What?"
Yeah. Well, it was either one or two things. He was either trying to do like something cute by saying, "Oh, I miss Obama," like everybody. Oh, I know all of you think I'm referring to Barack, but I'm really talking about Michelle. Or he just totally screwed that one up.
They're all okay.
Yeah, I mean, he could have been
They're
right.
They're all that way.
Yeah, he could have been trying to just be cute, like, "Oh, I miss Michelle," and I know you guys
or
think
trying to let everybody know, like, listen, hello.
Yeah, you know, I don't know, but I mean, I saw Axe playing that a couple of times, and whatever it was, if it was an attempt at humor, well, see, that's the biggest problem with Booker's campaign he's going to have, is that
bathroom Booker.
Yeah, well, that's another problem he's going to have, but another problem is that he's not a natural. You know, one thing about Trump.
Not at all.
Yeah, one thing about Trump, he's a natural. Obama was a natural out there. Clinton was a natural. Even George W. Bush, to a certain extent, was kind of a natural. You know what I mean? He wasn't uptight. He wasn't uptight.
He was the mayor of Newark, and the worst crime, drug, everything was the worst. In New Jersey, when you cross the bridge and you go to New Jersey, it's horrible. I live in New York City, so I know people that live out there. Horrible. Come out and come hang. Go to the barbecue. No, I'm not going. Because I already know what's going to happen. Everybody's going to get shot.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I'm not going.
Yeah. No. I mean, Newark was known for crime and a whole bunch of problems. There was I'm trying to remember Newark. There was I want to say it was Newark. It was like a really good steak restaurant.
Newark, like even in the 90s, the late 90s, early 2000s, it's the worst.
Yeah.
And the reason my voice sounds like this and you thought I was a dude is because my voice is hoarse.
No. I thought you were a dude because just by your name, Links the Don.
No, because that's what my friends call me.
Links the Don?
They call me Links the Don.
What does that mean? What does that actually mean?
Oh, as far as me dealing with dudes.
Oh, okay. So I guess you deal with dudes in a good
Links
way.
the Don. Like I'm the Don with dealing with dudes. That's where that comes from.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
Because
So
I'm pretty and dudes.
that's too funny. I did not know that. Did not know that. So
Like they would call me and say, "What's up, Links?" I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" "Oh, the Don." Or they would just say the Don. And I'm like, "Oh, why you calling me that?" "Oh, because you got this dude over here crying." The Don. That's why
oh
they call me that.
oh God. Oh well. So you must be
So do you get it?
well. You must be like a real heartbreaker. I'm taking it.
No, no, no. I like nice guys. I like nice people.
Yeah.
But that's from when I was like, I'm 41 now. That's when I was like 18, 19, 20, 21.
Oh, you're only 21.
No, I'm
Oh,
41.
you're
Damn it.
41. Oh, I think you said it. I think you said you're only 21. It's like, damn.
No, I said that was back then.
Oh, gotcha.
But it's still stuck. Like they still call me like, the Dom.
Oh, I gotcha. So do you follow
And
politics?
then I live in New York City, so yeah, that works out perfectly.
Yeah. Do you follow politics a lot?
Yes, I'm a staunch Republican.
So being
I
a,
love Trump. Where we go one, we go all, and I love Hugh.
when you're in New York, the one guy called it on an Access show today. He said he had a real hard time being a conservative in New York. He's like he really can't.
Oh yeah, because this is a real blue state. And then I just heard that Cuomo say pro-lifers are not welcome here. And I'm like, huh? What are you talking about?
Right.
So now you want everybody to abort their kids.
Well, I mean,
It's incredible.
yeah, I mean, this whole abortion thing is gotten out of control because before,
It's disgusting, it's satanic, and it shouldn't be at all.
well, yeah, because before they always said we want it to be safe, legal, and rare. Just in the emergency situations. Excuse me a sec.
Oh.
Yeah, and now it's like they want it like all the time, every time, and even in the ninth month. And that one bill that they were trying to push in Virginia was, where you could even the mom could decide to have an abortion while she was in labor. I mean, while she's in labor,
That's the same thing that's in New York City. It's disgusting.
yeah. I mean that baby, like I was saying last night, it's like you can make the argument on like say first trimester. I mean, I think it's a life, like after 6 weeks. But you can make the argument like, well, it's not a life first trimester. You're pushing it big time.
Listen, when they say it's a ball of cells, no.
No, it's a lot more.
18 days, or maybe even 14 days, the heart is beating. That's your baby.
Right.
That's your baby. I have 2 kids, and each time I found out I was pregnant, I said, "Oh wow, I'm pregnant." And even though my stomach was flat, I knew there was something in there. There was somebody in there.
Yeah,
You don't do
right.
that.
No, you don't. I mean, but you definitely can't make the argument that the last trimester that it's not a life, and you definitely can't make the argument that while the woman's in her ninth month, it's not a life, and you definitely can't make the argument that while the woman's in labor and there's a baby in there. I mean, it's a baby in there. I mean, if you did a C-section right there on the spot,
There's
you pull
a
out a lot.
baby. I had 2 C-sections. Even so, they're 4-month-old babies. They're premature babies that get C-section out and still still live. It's bullshit, Carl.
Oh no,
Sorry
no,
to curse on your channel.
no. I curse all the time. Don't worry about it. No, I mean, no. I was premature. I was born 6 weeks early. I mean, today it'd be like,
See?
today it'd be like they just kill me. It's like 6 weeks. Oh, you're dead. We just kill you right now. But you're right. You're right though.
It's
You can't.
bullshit, Carl.
Yeah.
Listen, if you number one, when I live in New York City, to where we don't have capital punishment, to where there is no death penalty. But then again, you can kill a baby.
Yeah, I mean
That's bullshit, Carl.
yeah. See, like in the federal law, we don't have like a law for murder in federal law. Like there is no like you
Well,
can.
you know what? It is murder.
No, no,
It's murder all
no,
around.
no. I understand that. Okay, but remember now, we have to be somewhat consistent when we're arguing this. We've always argued that this is not a federal right, that abortion is not a federal issue, that it belongs in the state's hands. So New York State said, okay, we'll agree with you on one part of it, even though we want protection. But, the governor of New York, they're playing it both sides. Say, okay, it's a state's issue, we'll take care of it, but we also want a federal guarantee. Instead of just saying, look, you're right, it's a state's issue, we got this, and the heck with the rest of the country. But we can't say it's a state's right issue and then say you can't pass that law. However, this is how it has to get approached. Because we don't have a federal law against murder per se. There is no law that says you cannot murder somebody. There's like if you commit an act of terrorism, you commit treason, that kind of stuff. You get the death penalty. But so this is how you have to approach it. You have to approach it on a Fifth Amendment through the 14th Amendment due process, say that they were denied life, liberty without due process of law, the civil rights violation. So you can say on that end that the New York law is unconstitutional because that baby, that life, was denied. Here, let me pull something up here real quick. Let's see if I can get it up here. No, I don't have it right. I don't have it right here. Okay, hold on. Let me just dump this. Yeah, the Fifth Amendment. You cannot be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So what you could do is now this will have to come down to when life begins. And so somebody's going to have to file a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court in New York saying that life begins whenever. And the U.S. District Court judge is going to have like basically a trial because you're going to be seeking injunctive relief, a trial, non-jury trial, bench trial, just in front of the judge, and you're going to have to hear evidence on when a life begins. And then somebody's going to have to come up with a determination of when that baby inside of that body is a life, when you cannot deny it of due process. Everybody's been real skittish.
Conception.
Right. Everybody's been real skittish about bringing that kind of an action because they were afraid where it was going to go if it got to the Supreme Court. Now, with a 5-4 majority, I think if somebody brings that action in the U.S. District Court saying, but you have to get standing, so it'd have to be like the father would have to, like, you have to have standing.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah. You have to
as far as fathers coming through and saying, no, don't kill my baby. Hopefully that will be.
Right. And then so the only problem is it has to move kind of quick because, theoretically, if they abort the baby, then it's moot. But you have to get past the mootness argument, saying it's a issue that's beyond it's an issue that a federal question that should be looked at. So then so it goes to the U.S. District Court judge. He rules one way or the other. One side appeals. Goes to I'm not sure who sits what Circuit Court of Appeals that is, but whatever Circuit Court of Appeals it is in New York, they hear the case. Then
New York City sucks. I don't like Cuomo. I don't like de Blasio. And you know what's so incredible? If Cuomo, his father is probably spitting in his grave because that's not the way his father was.
Yeah, Mario Cuomo. No,
horrible.
Yeah, no, Mario Cuomo was your typical 80s liberal Democrat, not like these guys are today. Your 80s and 90s.
Yeah, they're different.
Yeah, your 80s and 90s liberal Democrats are not the Democrats that we got running around today. They're just not. They're not even close. I mean,
they're radicalized now.
Oh, yeah, they're all radicalized. I mean, when you're cheering and yelling and jumping them down and being happy about the idea that you can kill a baby in the 9th month, I don't. I mean, it's
and
really,
everybody's clapping and smiling.
Yeah, I mean, it's really
like everything
weird.
is okay. It's disgusting.
I mean, it's one thing to pass a law and say, well, this is a tough call, but we have to do it, But it's another thing to sit there and be jumping up and down and clapping about it. I mean, it's almost sick. I mean, it's like some kind of sickness. It's like,
Yeah, it is sick.
And I understand
these people are sick.
And I understand their argument on the other side where they say, well, we want women to be free of having to, raise babies and, have babies.
Well, guess what? Close your legs. There's birth control. Wear a condom, boys.
Yeah. And actually.
And then if you don't want the baby, give it up for adoption.
Oh no, all of the above. I mean, first of all, birth control is free. I mean, if you don't have any money, they'll give you free birth control. I mean, you go to, especially in New York City. I mean, New York City,
Yes,
any
you
major urban
can.
area, you can get free birth.
You even get the Plan B pill
Yeah, the day morning
with
after.
Medicaid. You get it 4 times. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
yeah, you get it's a morning after pill. So right, so even if you have sex, you didn't take the birth control pill or wear a condom or anything else, you think you're pregnant, you can take the morning after pill, and you don't have to
You
worry
go to
about.
the gynecologist. They have baskets of condoms.
Oh, really?
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But I mean, that's where we are right now. I mean, we're this country is a
Yeah, for delivering and selling body parts of the babies. That's incredibly insane.
Yeah, let's see. Who do we got
But
in
that's
here?
and if you look at Project Veritas, they just say it how much each part is. And I'm like, oh my god,
Oh,
and they blew it up.
so hold on. Let me see who we got in the chat room real quick. See, John
All right,
Vetti.
great. Let me go.
No, no, no. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere. That's fine. See. Oh, hey, thanks to Nanya there for.
Nanya, love you, Nanya.
Thank you, Nanya, for your great work there in the chat room. Much appreciated. If
Love you all
Nanya,
that's here. Where's Lilo? Where's Mr. Lilo and Roro?
let's see here. Hold on. I don't know who's here. I'm trying to see who's in the chat room right now. But Jack, who's Ron? Who's Ron? Okay. Oh well. Anyway, Mo, thanks for stopping by, man. Thanks for stopping by. So, but yeah, are you still on the phone?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, good. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, just yeah, Nanya, if you want to yeah, Nanya, if just use your best judgment for zapping people out of there. I have no problem. I trust you. So that was a good call on that one. So yeah, definitely. Feel free. But
Hey.
there's Amy giving you a heart.
Hey, Amy.
So there you go. But no,
Love you, girl.
yeah, but
I love all my fellow patriots. Love you all.
No, but no, you make some good points on that abortion law. I mean, and I'm sorry that you're living actually in New York there and having to deal with all that, you know.
Huh.
So,
Listen, I'm an army brat. My father was a drill sergeant. I grew up in Oklahoma, Texas, and Germany. I was born in the Bronx, though. And then I had to go out there. So I lived there, like, for the majority of my life. And then I came back. Because my mother said, this is home. I'm like, no, I don't want to go to New York City. I want to be in Oklahoma, Texas. No, we had to come back here. I had to be like 12, 13.
right.
And I was like, don't leave me here. These are animals in the school. They're animals.
Yeah.
Totally different. Totally different from where I was raised out there. I had a little twang and everything. I had to watch video music box to get my because I had this, I didn't say talk. I said talk. Can you pass the ball? No, it's ball.
Right.
Can
Yeah.
you pass the socks? No,
Right.
it's salt. I had to go. It was a big ass culture shock.
Oh yeah. No.
Huge culture shock.
No, I lived out on Long Island up there in Suffolk County, and we had relatives who lived in Brooklyn. And yeah, whenever we would go into Brooklyn to hang out with them and stuff, it was like having to speak a foreign language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I came from other states to here, and I didn't want to be here. So I'm stuck here for now, but I'm gonna leave soon. I have my 2 sons that say I'm American.
Right.
No, you don't say I know your skin color, you're black, but no, you're American. What are you? I'm American. Tell everybody that I'm an American.
Well, exactly.
Are you a Democrat? No, I'm a Republican.
Yeah, you must be real popular
I
over
love
there.
Trump.
Yeah. Well, he's doing a lot of right stuff. He's doing a lot of right stuff.
He's awesome, and he is always five steps ahead of them all the time, and it will never change.
yeah.
God bless him, and God bless everyone here. And I'm gonna get off the phone so I can let someone else call in. And hey, Carl, love you, Carl.
Oh well, hey, love you right back. So hey, thanks for calling in though. Appreciate it. Really, really do.
Hey, we're Americans, man. We have to stick together.
You got it, no doubt. All right, I'll put you in my
All
I'll
right.
put you in my contact list so I know next time when you're calling in. Okay.
All right, great. All
All right.
right,
All right.
later.
Bye bye. And that was the great Lynx the Don calling in, a fellow Axe subscriber as well. And I just want to say hi to Jovi Venti is jealous of Nightwave, as well as Mo. See you in there as well. And I'm a sub actually on Mo's site. And let's see, Chief Legal Latino as well. And of course, Amy and Nanya, the great douchebag. Uh, let's see, who else do I have up here? Nanya Business, yeah. And of course, Link to Don. Thank you very much. And Laura Sanders. Hey, Laura. How you doing? And let's see. Ba, 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 ba. See. Chief Legal Latino. Hey, man. No, that is not a year. And so later. Thanks for stopping by, though. See you later. Boom. Yeah, I know all that crap, okay? I used to moderate on another site, and we used to deal with dumbasses like you all the time. So, yeah, 86, about 500 of you guys. So, more than happy to 86 year tonight. Thanks for the memory, going down memory lane with you on that one. Anyway, so back to our topic at hand. Let's go. What else we got going on here? All right, we were talking about Venezuela, so let's get back to that. All right, so basically, what we got going on here, China has joined Russia in standing by Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Let's see, hold on. So anyway, we're in the second column of this story here, and it was talking about Venezuela's government's ability to repay Beijing. And Beijing also recognized that a U.S.-backed Guaido administration might refuse to honor outstanding debts. Chinese Commerce Ministry spelled out this concern on Tuesday. Let's see where we go here. Oh, by the way, we don't take any unknown person phone calls. So if you're calling as an unknown person, don't bother calling. We don't take your phone calls. No block phone calls, no unknown person phone calls. So don't bother calling. There we go. All right. Let's see. Standing debt, China's Commerce Ministry spelled out this concern on Tuesday. If the opposition party holds power in the future, a new Venezuelan government could use protecting national interests as a reason to renegotiate contract terms with China and even just refuse to repay remaining debts, ministry said. China has learned an important lesson from this, said a Chinese government advisor on Latin America. We have to do things on a commercial basis, looking at market conditions rather than for the sake of appearance and government-to-government agreements. China's decision to ramp up lending to Venezuela 12 years ago was driven by go to the top of the column, excuse me, as was driven by as worldwide demand was pushing crude prices towards $100 a barrel. Sweetening the deal was the proposed for the prospect of a strategic foothold in the United States' backyard, which of course we have a strategic foothold in their backyard, so they figured tit for tat, as well as potentially lucrative markets for Chinese arms makers, dam builders, and railway engineers. Since then, China has provided Venezuela with more than $50 billion in loans, repayable in oil. According to China's Commerce Ministry, independent researchers put the figure at more than $62 billion. They're kind of even hiding how much they're getting ready to lose, it sounds like. The Chinese support was instrumental for Venezuela's president at the time, Hugo Chavez. Problems became more prominent after Mr. Maduro took power in 2013. Oil production plummeted with falling prices and underinvestment. Repayments to China appear to have slowed to a trickle since around 2015, following a renegotiation of terms, Chinese and foreign experts said. So there's a backstory on what's going on. This is why China is, let me bring this up. This is why China is kind of being a pain in the butt with us in Venezuela. While at the same time they're using us as a back channel to talk to Guaido, to try to make a deal with him to make sure that they still get they say they're owed another $20 billion, but it sounds like they kind of understated how much they were owed to begin with. So that $20 billion could really be like $30 billion, but or 40. They may not want that information out there public because they're afraid of the repercussions they'll get at home. I mean, even though they're a dictatorship and they're pretty brutal on their own people, and there is no opposition party to the Chinese communists, still they don't want that out there. And also, it would also hurt their standing, their credibility in the world in negotiating contracts if they come up, because here we are kind of like a little bit laughing at them for making such a bad business deal. Well, they don't want people necessarily know how really bad of a business deal it was. So they say they're still owed $20 billion, I guess, in oil. That's what they, let them pay the loan back with. But, for all we know, it's $40 billion. It's more than that. So they're gonna need the Trump administration to. Here we go. They're going to need the Trump administration to help with them on this because, again, the biggest back channel to Guaido right now is going to be the United States because we're the biggest player. We're right here. We have troops and bases, naval bases, air bases in Panama, right, literally down the street from these guys. So let's see what else we got going on here. Main page, and we were talking about this earlier. And we'll kind of continue on with this. The record job growth. There we go. There we go. All right, let's cut over here. And let's put me over here. Boom. Let's see what's going on in the chat real quick. Mr. Winters. All right. All right. Okay. All right. And so there we are. We're talking about, talking about the U.S. labor market notched its 100th straight month of increased employment in January while sustaining wage growth. And again, we were talking about this earlier. And let me get to actually the second volume of this because this is kind of where we ended up. Let's see here. We get down to the bottom here. Here we go. Some major U.S. companies, and here we go to the top of the column, including Apple Inc., Caterpillar Inc., recently reported disappointing profits. But other firms, including Facebook Inc. and Amazon.com Inc., posted record profits. Amazon, of course, posting record profits. I'm surprised Facebook was able to post record profits. Those gains, alongside strong results from banks and smaller companies, helped propel the best January gain for stocks in 30 years. Ms. Bovino expects the U.S. economy to expand 2.3% in 2019. That's a little bit low, unfortunately. That would mark a slowdown from last year's pace, but run slightly ahead of the average rate of growth for most of current expansion. Abroad, the threats loom larger. China's manufacturing sector contracted for the second straight month in January. There we go. We're just talking about China. In January, the Eurozone economy grew at the weakest pace. Oh, we got another call. Looks like Charity calling in. Hey, Charity, you're on with Carl's Opinion. How you doing?
Hey, but what's up? It is Drum Man.
This is who?
Drum Man Production.
Oh, Drum Man. I put the wrong name on the contact. So this is actually Drum Man. Okay, let me get that. Make sure.
Yeah, I want to sit there and tell you about this bullshit that's going on in the Congress with all these liberal fucking goddamn bastards.
All right, hold on. We got cut across over here. Here we go. All right, yeah, go ahead, Mr. Droman Productions. Also another fellow sub from Axe Truth site. So, yeah, what do you got? Go ahead, tell me what's going on.
Well, let me tell you something right now. This Acacia Cortez, she's absolutely out of her mind. She's in there wants to talk about everybody who's sitting there want to get free, and everything whatsoever. And she's sitting there climbing on board with their bullshit and everything whatsoever. This is absolutely out of their mind.
Well, just tell me specifically what's going on. You were mentioning Ocasio-Cortez. What's specifically going on?
Well, she sits there and freaking goddamn wants everybody to sit there and want everybody to sit there and give everybody 99% of their taxes and everything whatsoever.
Well, no. Well, did she say 99? Well, I think she said the highest rate she wanted to go was like 80 or 90%. Was that what she was saying?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. Liberals want to sit there and take 100% of all of our taxes, and that's all they want.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what they want to do. But do you have a specific policy that you're pissed off about?
What their policy is basically is that they want to sit there and put out this green policy. Sit there, and everybody wants to sit there and put a windmill on top of their car and a what do you call it? What the hell is that thing? You know what I'm talking about. They want a windmill and everything whatsoever on top of their car, and everybody sit there and drive around like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what these liberals want is basically sit there and rob us of everything that we sit there and hold dearly. Is that we love America, and when we work, we want to keep our money and everything whatsoever, but the liberals want to take it all away.
Well, Omega, Carl just there you go. Well, don't die trying. I'm sorry, I gotta do a shout out to Omega Dreads real quick. Yeah, don't die trying.
Well, they want us to sit there and drive around with windmills and solar panels on our cars and everything whatsoever. That idiot Ocasio-Cortez, who was a bartender a year ago, and all of a sudden she's a authority about everything, and the CNN and everything whatsoever says, "Oh my God, she's the most wonderful woman in the world."
Well, yeah, I mean, she's a new flavor of the month. Now you have to take her
flavor of the month.
Yeah,
flavor of the month. Let me tell you something about the flavor of the month. I like tea berry ice cream, but I tell you what, I'm not getting that.
Well, in other words, she's a flash. In my opinion, she's a flash in the pan. Okay, unless the Democrats go completely insane.
She's a flash in the pan, and she's a dumbass.
Well, yeah, but unless the Democrats
I'll tell you something right now. I like to go down there and sit there and confront her like Laura. You ever see Laura Loomer?
Yeah, I watch Laura Loomer every once in a while. Sure.
Yeah, well, she sit there and confronted her, and she sit there and ran away. There goes Ocasio-Cortez runs away, and everything was her. But freaking goddamn asshole.
Yeah, well, I mean, she doesn't have a lot of depth. So, I mean, if anybody gives her,
there's nothing like Rush Limbaugh says. There's symbolism over substance, and there's nothing there. It's all a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, well, people like that, you should be concerned about them, but don't be overly concerned about them. Like Omega Dress just wrote, she got caught. She already got caught.
You need to get overly concerned about these people, because the fact is that these people have a lot of words that you sit there and have all these libtards and all these people sitting there listening to them. But let me tell you something right now. These people are very, very dangerous.
Well, no, they are dangerous, but what I'm saying is, she doesn't have a lot of depth, so she's not going to be able to go the distance. Like Omega Drez wrote, she already got caught in one lie saying she grew up in the hood, where she actually grew up in a really nice area, like I think around Rochester. I remember that story myself. So I mean, someone like that, if you don't have a lot of depth, you're not gonna survive going through Congress. She'll probably
It
still keep
doesn't
getting.
matter. The fact that she's sitting in Congress and everything was started. She's sitting
Well,
there
I
and
mean, what do
talks
you?
all
Okay, look,
right.
man. Hey, wake up. We're in a fucking democracy. What do you want? What do you want to have happen? People will vote for who they want to vote for. You love
You
this
know what
country.
it need to
Love,
happen? You need to get
love,
up there
love.
and goddamn go down there and sit there and freaking goddamn run her ass into the ground. That's what they need to do.
Look, love this country or leave it. We're a democratic republic.
You can't
I
sit there
mean,
and
we
say,
elect
oh,
people.
okay,
People
that's
get to
okay.
vote for whoever they want to vote for. If the idiots in her district wanted to vote for her because they're stupid, they have that. They have
Of
that right to
course.
do it.
And that they are spreading a disease. It's like a freaking goddamn fungus. They sit there and run around and everything was her. You don't, do you not get it?
I don't know, but anyway, hey man, I got another call.
You can't sit there and allow these people to sit there and freaking goddamn run around the country and sit there and talk all this nonsense and everything.
Well, what do you want us to do?
Without
Censor them?
combating them.
We're
Yeah,
yelling.
just sit there and go after them.
Well, what do you think everybody is doing? Yes, every time she opens her mouth, there's like 20 people there to shut it up. I mean, to tell her how stupid she is. So I mean, that's what we're doing.
I'm sitting there fucking telling you right now, go after her. No sense. You have to sit there and fight it and sit there and say, you know what? You are a bartender. All of a sudden, you're authority about everything. Give me a break. What the hell you have no? What the hell you know what the hell you're talking about?
Well,
Because
it doesn't matter. That's the system of government we got. I mean, that's where it goes. I mean, look, if she opens her mouth and says something stupid, there's 20 people that tell her how stupid it is. Fine. I'm okay with that.
Now, I'm telling you something right now. I go after her. I sit there and freaking goddamn go after her 500 bulls and fucking goddamn knock her ass in the ground. Come on, man. Get on her ass.
Well, okay. I'll take your advice.
You gotta get on her ass, man. You can't sit there and freaking goddamn.
And that was the great Drone Man Productions. So there you go. But anyway, thanks for calling in, Mr. Drone Man Productions. And happy to have the call. But anyway, but look, we live in a democratic republic, okay? Which means we're going to get some stupid people elected because being stupid doesn't disqualify you from voting. I mean, it just doesn't. So if stupid people want to elect a stupid person to be, their congresswoman, congressman, that's going to happen. But he is right about one thing. You have to engage, but I'm not sure necessarily what the engagement he wants me to do is. I mean, I guess I could go knock on her door and say, I hate you, you're stupid, but that doesn't get you very far. I mean, she obviously doesn't want to debate anybody. All the interviews she's doing right now are all softball interviews. They're set up that way. I mean, heck, she was on PBS, and before she got elected, and she was screwed up that interview big time. So her people know, don't put her anywhere where she's going to face any kind of tough questions. Do all little softball shows. Even Anderson Cooper. I mean Anderson Cooper. 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes is supposed to be about going after people. They had no problem going after Trump. Leslie Stahl, when she interviewed him, they have no problem going after Republicans. But Anderson Cooper let her slide on so many things. I mean, he should be ashamed of himself. You got somebody who obviously is speaking out their ass. And 60 Minutes was known for they don't let people get away with speaking out their ass. That's what I used to watch the show back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. They had tough, hard-hitting questions for anybody. And they were equal opportunity. They went after liberals, they went after conservatives, Republicans, Democrats, independents, and they hit them up with hard questions, and they did follow-up hard questions. They didn't just let them just skate. And Anderson Cooper's follow-up was nothing. There was all softball. Okay, I mean, he should have taken her. He should have exposed her for the moron that she is. But hey, she's a leftist, and now the media doesn't go after everybody equally. They only go if you're a conservative. If she was a conservative talking that kind of nonsense, talking just out her ass, trust me, they would have been all over her. But Anderson Cooper just kind of and then he goes, well, facts matter or this matters, and then she gave an answer, and then instead of following up and jumping on her and saying, well, what the hell are you talking about? You have to wake up and get these liberals around their throats and know them out, or you have to not being dummy dude. Hey, Well, hey, happy to. Yeah. Well, hey, you know what, man? Hey, I used to drink also. That's all I can say to Drummer Productions. I used to drink. But one thing I didn't do is get drunk and then call into somebody's show and sound like an idiot. So, it's okay to drink, it's okay to get drunk, but don't call in here and sound like a moron and they get mad at me because I'm not going to play along with you. And I'm not going to let people go around grabbing, advocating, violence and grabbing around their throats. So, hey, thanks for visiting and have a good one. So, anyway. But I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Just ease off the bottle. It's the best thing I can tell you. You know, it's unhealthy. You know, you end up dying at an early age, and you should probably cry, or at least slow down, or at least I don't know, do something. But anyway, that was Drillman Productions, who can no longer be with us. I knew Drillman back in the day when we were younger, and he was a real go-getter, and I'm sorry to see how he turned out, but nonetheless. I'm only kidding. I never knew Drillman Productions. The first time I seen him was, on these sites and stuff. So, oh, knowing you, very interesting night at all as well. Yeah, it's got a lot of phone calls coming in with block numbers on them as well. Obviously, you can't hear them coming in because I'm screening them. I figured out a way to do that, so that's really cool. But yeah, yeah, real interesting night. Always. But hey, that's what a live call-in show is about. It's like I don't. I don't have a problem disagreeing with somebody, and then they want to make a good argument. Hey, I'll do that all night long. I used to do that. I used to do that in college. I did that in law school. I do that for a living. I argue points all day long. I mean, that's what I do for a living. But you can't lead with passion. You cannot lead with passion. It's okay to be passionate about a subject, but don't lead with it. Lead with reason. You have to be reasonable, and then let the passion come in at the right appropriate time. I mean, that sounds kind of antithetical to being a passionate person, but you're not going to be able to convince anybody. I see it in court. I'll see an attorney get all passionate, and then I realize this attorney's going nowhere fast because they're not. You're arguing the points and then arguing the law or the facts. They're just arguing their passion, their belief. So you kind of have to deal with that. Oh my God, you had with that. I was like, oh geez. But yeah, great douchebag. Yeah, if you want to call in Mr. Douchebag, go right ahead. And unfortunately, I had the other guy's name mixed up with a different contact. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, anybody want to call in, please feel free. I promise I'll be nice. I promise. So feel free to call in. But anyway, let's take a look at the other news stories of the day. Let's see. We were talking about the economy, but hey, feel free to call in, talk about anything you want. And let's see. Where was I here? All right. All right, so manufacturing sector contract for the second straight month in January. In fact, I'm going to move myself over here. Oh, there I am. Hey. So anyway, manufacturing sector contracted for the second straight month in January. Eurozone economy grew at the weakest pace in 4 years in 2018, as Italy's economy contracted for the second straight. Hold on, got to use two hands. There we go. For the second straight quarter. The Canadian economy is also slowing. Global developments are on the radar screen for U.S. employers, but they aren't yet causing them to change course, said Becky Frankowitz, president of staffing from Manpower Group North America. Employment is growing in all sectors, she said. This is about us. And firms are starting to invest more in training and upskilling because they realize the supply of workers is limited. Now, that's what we were talking about a little bit today before Axe shows came on. Now, supply and demand. In other words, if there's more demand for workers than there are workers, that increases the price of their labor. To wit, they can ask for a better wage because now the employers are the ones competing for the employees, not the other way around. It's not like 50 employees competing for the same job with an employer. Now the tables have turned. Now it's our turn. There you go. Da-da-da. Da-da. So basically now the employer has to pay more and be willing to offer. Now, remember, this training that the employers are offering, that's free. Okay? So they're starting to invest more in training and upskilling because they realize supplier workers is limited. So they're offering like free training to, look, we got 20 jobs, and I got 5 people out there who are qualified to work these jobs. Okay, I need 20. So I'm going to grab these 15 people. Hey, come on board. We'll pay you a nominal wage at first. You're not getting paid a full wage, a nominal wage, and we'll pay for your training, maybe even a license, whatever the case may be. And, then you can come work for us, and this is what we're going to pay you after you get on board. I mean, that's great. I mean, it probably hasn't been like that since, like, the 70s, the 80s, maybe. It hasn't been like that in a long time. And this is all due to Donald Trump, because he is making America great again. See, there's the hat. Make America great again. That's exactly what he's doing. So, this is just fantastic news. And trust me, the Wall Street Journal is not necessarily big Trump fans. Okay, they're just not, because they don't like what he's doing with China on the tariffs. Although I think they're coming around. I think they see, oh, okay, this is going to work. So, they're a little skittish because they support Wall Street Journal is financed by a lot of people who like international trade. They don't care about U.S. jobs. They make their money elsewhere. So they don't make, just because U.S. workers aren't working, somebody's working around the world, and they're making money on it. And they're making probably a lot more money if whatever's being produced gets produced someplace else, because it's cheaper to produce it there and your profit margin is higher. So, so they're not big fans of Trump, but I think they're coming around on this whole China thing. They're saying, oh, this kind of is a good thing. But it's taken them a while. Thank you. Anyway, so it goes on to say, let's see. Merritt Brennan said he had read headlines about the government shutdown, financial markets, and worries about the global economy. He said he hadn't seen those developments affecting the Wisconsin construction firm he owns with his brother. When you're in the middle of the country, you're the last one to feel that stuff, said the co-president of J.M. Brennan, Inc. in Milwaukee. Yep, I just lost myself here. Hold on. I lost myself. Oh, go find yourself. That should be the word. Let's see. There we go. All right. Got myself back. Anyway, so now this is the guy talking. He owns a construction company in Wisconsin. This is what he's saying. So he says, see, when you're in the middle of the country, you're the last one to feel that stuff, said the co-president of J.M. Brennan, Inc. In Milwaukee, business is booming. Milwaukee. That's crazy. I mean, that was real depressed. Up, Mr. Douchebag calling in. Hold on. Mr. Douchebag, you're on with Carl's Opinion. This is Carl. How you doing, Mr. Douchebag?
What's up, Mr. Carl? How you doing? The great douchebag is in the house. How you doing? Everything good?
Everything is good. You should have been You should have been on Axis site today. There was like Troll City on that site today, man.
Oh man, them trolls, they got an IQ level of going overboard fixing their ship. You know what I'm saying? Fixing their boat. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, man.
They don't like me. They also have the brain power of starting a forest fire to light a cigarette. You know what I mean? That's the ideology. You know what I mean?
Well, hey, I understand if you want to light a cigarette and the only thing you got is like potentially starting a forest fire, you might have to do it.
Oh, yeah. But see, you see the analogy of what I say, right? It's like, they're only thinking about the moment. They're not thinking about the consequences long term. You know what I'm saying? It's
right.
like, when like you get what I mean. You get what I mean. But hey, Carl, is today on topic, or we talk about what we want? I just want to stay on point with with all what we're talking about and everything.
Nope, talk about what you want. Now, whenever I do a live call-in show, actually, it's whatever you want to talk about. Actually, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. I was watching something today on Joey Gibson's channel, and I noticed something in the comments, and I've been seeing it a lot lately. Do you think that the NRA is actually pandering more to the left? I mean, it seems like a lot of people have been accusing them of that lately. It's like, I mean, I know the NRA is kind of fighting legislation all over the country, like they're trying to overturn.
Yep, hello. Still there? Mr. Douchebag, still there? Hello?
Carl, I'm sorry. That was my bad. I don't know what's going on my phone.
Okay.
What part did you hear me up to? I'm sorry.
About the NRA, they're fighting legislation, and then you got cut off.
Oh, but a lot of people seem to think that they're kind of pandering more to the left. like they're not really going after, protecting people's Second Amendment. But see, the thing is, when it comes to stuff like that, right? I look at it like this, because people have told me, well, why do you support the NRA, yada, yada. Well, I don't need the NRA to care about me. I need them to do what they say they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Right.
I'm perfectly capable of living my own life and paying my own bills, But,
Yeah.
it's like, but it's like people, especially some of these ignorant conservatives that don't understand, the NRA, they can only do so much. And let's say if there's a gun law that they want to challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they take it to that state's court, and it's overwhelmingly liberal. Well, yeah, there's not much the NRA can do if the liberal court overrules what the NRA is trying to get overturned. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like you have all these, these leftist groups. But see, that's the thing with these conservative. There's nothing more to me. I'm still learning. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but and I'm still learning. Everything that I can. But you have these people who will say that the NRA is, they only lobby for the big gun companies. Well, hello, if the gun companies can't sell guns, guess what? The Second Amendment ain't going to be around much longer. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, the problem I had with the NRA back in the 90s, because, I know people who owned little mom and pop gun stores, and the NRA kind of winked and nodded a lot at Treasury and the Clinton administration, making it harder for mom and pop stores to be able to, sell weapons. In other words, they made it so that whatever gun they sold to somebody, they had to have that inventory on site. Well, a lot of mom and pop stores can't afford to have a lot of inventory on site. They would call in, get the serial numbers, and send it up to DOJ for a background check. But they made it so that whatever gun you sold, whatever gun you were getting a background check on, you had to have the gun in store. So it forced small mom and pop stores to shut down because they couldn't afford to keep a large amount of inventory. So they couldn't sell. A mom and pop store used to be able to just have say 20, 25, 30 guns in their store on display, and then when somebody came to buy one, they would call into the vendor, get a serial number, that was going to be shipped out, and then write that serial number in for that gun, which was totally legal. That was the gun they were going to be selling this guy, and put that on the background check paperwork. So what they did was say, no, you can the vendors were prohibited from calling in and telling you a serial number. You can only sell a gun that was in store that you already had the serial number for. And that supported the big gun stores, big chain stores, to the detriment of mom and pop stores. And so they kind of, they're, when you say, and that's another problem, when you say they're also in favor of the big gun manufacturers, because that's where they get their money. I mean, look, they get money from dues from private people like us, but where they get the real bulk of their money that allows them to do all this advertising and all that, that's from the big gun manufacturing companies. The NRA is a lobbying group. They can take unlimited amount of donations in from anybody. There's no limit. A gun. Ruger could hand them $10 million a year, or Smith and Wesson, and so they're going to be more concerned about Smith and Wesson and Ruger, or about big gun store chains. They are going to be about the little guy like you and me. So that's kind of where because it's all about money. But at the same point in time, we have to kind of go along with it, because without the NRA, we don't have a lobbying group.
Exactly. And Gun Owners of America is starting to gain strength too. I mean, I think they're a little bit better than the NRA, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, and do correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're more like of an extension of the NRA. I don't think they're necessarily together, but they do kind of. I do know that sometimes the NRA will back lawsuits that Gun Owners of America file against things that they deem that infringes upon the Second Amendment. But there's so much things and everything that you got to research and try to see, because I mean, I'd have to say I've probably been red pilled about maybe 5-6 years. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of see. It's like I'm a libertarian. I know I mentioned that before. I mean, I'm very conservative on a lot of things. But certain things, I will lean left too. But some of those things I lean left on have some facts behind them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like, I understand why we have a Constitution. I understand why we have the Second Amendment. I understand why we have these things, because it is the rights that are guaranteed to us, And if they shred that, we're going to have rights, that we're basically going to be NPCs, I mean, that's, the non-playable characters, I think is what they stand for,
Yeah,
but,
it's like non-playable characters that just kind of move around the gaming. I'm not a gamer, so I kind of had to look all that stuff up too. I'm not a gamer, so when they said NPC, these guys that just kind of walk around, they're mindless, you can't control them, they just do their own thing.
Yeah. And it's like, these, and I don't know if you saw, I forget the guy's name, but he went down to a city hall. His video went viral. I forget the guy's name, but he was like talking about, I think he was from Chicago, but it was like a meeting in Chicago. The NRA, he actually did a commercial for the NRA. I forget his name, but boy, did he let the city council have it. Like, and one of his famous lines was, he goes, I'm going to, you're not going to take this, because I've seen that video so many times because it's inspiration. He says, I'm not going to, you guys aren't going to win this without a fight. When I say fight, I don't mean, fighting physically or anything. He goes, I'm going to come down here and raise hell just like these loonies from the left do.
Right.
Man, how he said that was.
Well,
Did you see that video?
No, I have not. But, I mean, look, politics it's always has been, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and so if you have an issue that you're really concerned about, that you want to have taken care of, you need to participate. You need to go to the city council meetings. I mean, I'm sure in your city and everybody's city you'll see it. These city council meetings are announced way in advance. Everybody knows when they're going to be. You'll go in there. There's not if there's not one big hot topic item on the agenda, there's like nobody in there. Same thing with county, and the big one that nobody ever goes to, and this is where a lot of things get done, are the county commissioner meetings. Nobody goes in there and sees what they're doing. I mean, but anything that's not under the jurisdiction of the city that's within that county, the county commissioners are in charge of. And I mean, God, if you can get like 20 or 30 people in an audience at a typical county commissioner meeting, you get a lot. And maybe the local newspaper might cover it, maybe, but unless it's like some big hot, button topic, some big controversial thing, nobody shows up. I was town attorney here in my town for just under 3 years, and for most regular type issues, you have nobody in the audience. And then people who complain about what the town did later, what they voted on, it's like, well, you could have been there. They published the agenda. Now everything's online, so now you have no excuse. Not like you have to go to the courthouse and look at the agenda. Everything's online. Everybody has a phone. Everybody can look at it, But in democracy, you got to participate. So if somebody says, hey, I'm going to go down there and raise hell, do that. And grab like 50 people with you and let these people know, hey, we're voters. We're your constituents. And, you're our representatives. And we're not happy about what you're about to do. I've seen, when people do show up, I've seen town board members change their vote right in the middle of a session.
Yeah.
Right in the middle where it could have gone. It would have gone 3-2 one way, and I've seen where one guy's changed his vote and went 3-2 the other way. I've seen that, but you got to. Yeah. I mean, I know. Look, we all work. You get home, you're tired. A lot of these meetings are after hours. Yeah. It's like twice a month, whatever. Get down there. Get your friends down there. I don't know what. A lot of it's boring to sit through. I mean, I get it. I used to have to sit through these things myself for 3-4 hours, twice a month. I get it. But still, if you're interested in what's going on in your town, or the same thing with school board meetings, unless there's some real big hot topic issue, nobody shows up to the school board meetings, and they'll vote for like what kind of textbooks they're going to be buying. And those are big deals because you get some real leftist textbook that they're teaching your kids about.
Oh, yeah.
And next thing you know, your kids are bringing the textbook home and you're complaining about what's in it. Well, where were you when they were voting on this? Were you down at the PTA, at the not PTA, at the school board meeting? No. Well, now you're complaining. Well, it's too late now. They already voted to approve this book, and they again, these towns and these cities and these like school boards, they're under something called the Open Meetings Law, which means anything discussed, they have to publish what they're going to discuss, an agenda, and they have to provide backup. Now, the backup isn't necessarily online. But you may have to go down to the school board headquarters or to the town headquarters or the county headquarters. But it's available, and you can see exactly. So they're saying we're
Yeah.
going to buy these books. You can actually see what books they are, what's in there. You can look up the author of the books they're going to be given to your kids to read. You can do some research, Google his name, check him out. You can do all that, but you got to be involved. Democracy fails
Yeah.
when people. What did Jefferson say? The biggest danger to a democracy is an uneducated population, and not just formal education, but educated to what's going on. You got to be
Yeah.
involved,
Yeah.
and then when it happens
What
later
they've
and you
taken,
complain, don't complain.
what they've taken out of schools is, you know, I know everyone talks about God, but one of the biggest things that never gets mentioned, what they've taken out of schools, is learning wisdom. They don't teach learning wisdom. You know, I mean, obviously wisdom is something you have to learn with age, but, you know, nobody really gives talking points on how to accumulate wisdom. You know what I'm saying? They don't ever talk about that. You know, it's like, you know, like, you know, when you're learning, right? Like this is probably a dumb analogy, but you know, I'll explain how it emphasizes my point, right? If I'm training to be a martial artist, right? Who am I going to learn from? The guy who puts me in a body cast, or the guy who, you know, takes it easy with me? I'm going to learn from the guy who puts me in a body cast, you know, because that's how I improve my technique. That's how I improve my knowledge. That's how I improve, you know, how I become as a martial artist. You know what I mean? I know
Right.
it's probably a silly analogy, but it's the quickest one I could think of for
No,
now. But
actually, it's a
but
good one. It's like, okay, like playing chess. Okay, you're not going to learn anything. You know, if you're like a good player, a good chess player, and you play a really bad chess player, you didn't learn anything. Okay, but if you play
exactly, yeah,
you play a chess player who's better than you, yes, you're going to learn. Period.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because, you know, and, you know, what they do is they make these, you know, they teach, basically what they teach you in school is how to work a machine, simple reading, writing, you know, and then when you get to college, obviously, you know, you learn your higher education, you know, to get in your profession and things like that, you know, but again, they don't teach, these a lot of these progressives are under the influence that people who make more money have more wisdom and have better talking points
Oh
than
no, yeah,
somebody who,
that's a joke.
you know, you know, and it's like Mr. Winters. I was just, you know, Mr. Winters and I were talking about in the chat earlier was when we were talking about Christine. I think it was Amy D or Mr. Winters. One of the two brought up Kristen Cinema. I forget who it was, but we were talking about they mentioned Kristen Cinema, right? And you know, she's a progressive like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You know, she's young. She, you know, appeals to the younger voters.
That's
you know, see what's happening.
Wait, hold on. Is that the senator in Arizona, the one who just won?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one that showed up in a party in a party outfit to Congress.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, how you go to Congress is your business, but it doesn't look very professional, in my opinion. You know, you're representing your state, and you need to. I mean, Kamala Harris, even though I don't like her, but at least she has enough dignity to dress appropriately for, you know, to show up for Congress.
Well, yeah, she was a trial attorney. She was. I mean, you know, when you go to court, you can't come in looking like an idiot. I mean, you get no respect from anybody. So, yeah, she was a trial attorney. She knows how to dress, wear a suit. Yeah, exactly. I agree.
But see, the thing too is, you know, with some of these people that the 1% is going to start backing. So what they're doing, if you notice too, what they're doing is they're ditching the likes of Pelosi, Maxine Waters. They're bringing in new blood, and they're hoping that this new blood that gets elected is going to start pushing legislation like Gavin Newsom in California, stuff what Gillum and Abrams were going to do had they gotten elected here,
right.
Push socialist policies that are going to bankrupt each state. They're going to do this state by state. You watch. You know, I mean, I don't know what keeps California afloat, you know, and what's really funny is when they were trying to pass that law where they send every tax gets, you know, they want to tax every text messages. That actually woke up some of these progressives, you know, like, you know, wait a minute, why are they doing this? You know, and I'm kind of surprised that they, you know, I'm not trying to insult anybody, you know, I even though I insult people, you know, but they say they don't support open borders, but yet they back candidates who are backed by special interests, who are backed by people like the Open Society Foundation. There's a few others, but Open Society is the first one that comes to mind. Um, that support these people and they push these agendas. And that's the thing. Basically a Democrat can basically tell them, no, we're going to raise your taxes, but they disguise it in the form of we're going to tax the wealthy,
Right.
meaning they want to tax the upper middle class. See, most of the upper middle class is conservative. If I could be wrong on that, but how you were talking.
Yeah, it all depends. Like a lot of people who maybe are kind of people. I think people who start with nothing and then kind of work their way up to upper middle class, they probably would tend to be more conservative. Like if they have a family, they believe like more law and order issues, more in education,
Yeah.
and and if they have a family. Generally, people who have a family are going to tend to be more conservative because they like things like tax cuts because they have more money in their at home to be able to raise their kids and be able to put their kids in the college. They like laws that get rid of the estate tax, so you don't the guy who died already paid taxes on that money once, and then under the old laws,
Mm-hmm.
then when he died and you got some of his money that he already paid tax on, you got to pay tax on it again. So they like getting rid of those kind of laws. But then you have some people who are born into being upper middle class, people like in Manhattan and stuff like that, and they feel like they feel guilty about the fact that they have money because they never earned it. So they become very liberal and they want to just say we should all give our money away. Then they won't necessarily give all their money away, but they'll give all of our money away.
Yeah.
To make themselves feel better.
Yeah. See, because these people like Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, they're kind of what you call the new blood of the globalist, of the globalist. See, Soros and Steyer, those are like the old school. They're like the more seasoned globalists, and then when you get these young ones like Zuckerberg and Dorsey, who make their billions off social media, they're kind of put in place, they're brought in, they're put in place by the likes of Soros and tell them, look, this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to use your platform for. It's like what's interesting, Peter Thiel, he's a libertarian. He's probably one of the more saner individuals that come out of Silicon Valley. But he's, from what I understand and read about him, he's no socialist. He actually favors capitalism, and I guess you would say he's probably the lesser of the evils when it comes to that. He was literally forced out of Silicon Valley because of his right-wing views, and he was also one of Trump's biggest supporters too. Like how we were talking about in our last call. Let's face it, any billionaire who's backing Trump is obviously not part of the 1% New World Order globalist elite. Like I was telling you about Kenneth Griffin. Kenneth Griffin, who funded DeSantis, he literally helped DeSantis compete with Gillum. And then I think the DeVos family, DeVos is very conservative from what I understand. I've only ever heard the name, but I've seen videos and things on them a little bit. They back a lot of conservative causes too, and they also helped DeSantis out, And again, like how you were talking about, we need that. We have to even though, and I'm not trying to echo stuff I was saying in our last conversation, but, it all comes down to, we have to kind of work with what we have. We may not have, the freedom that the left have to, to do their thing, but at least we have something that's better than not having anything,
Right. Well, it's important that, politics, there's money in politics. Okay. And you got to remember guys like Zuckerberg and the guy Dorsey at Twitter, they know, guys like that, they know that they're gazillionaires, and they didn't have to do a lot of work to get there. Okay, so they inherently feel guilty about it. They have, Zuckerberg, gazillions of dollars, and he knew he didn't have to do a lot. In fact, there was a whole lawsuit between him and his classmates as far as who came up with the idea, who really put it together, and they ended up having settled that lawsuit. But, so he has this inherent amount of guilt inside of him because he's like sitting there on top of a couple gazillion dollars, living wherever he wants to do, fly wherever he wants to fly to, buy whatever he wants to buy. If he wants to buy, $1 million car tomorrow, he can just write a check. I mean, he could just probably give a credit card and say boom, and so these guys feel like there's guilt about that. So they say, well, it's not right that I should have all this money. Now they're not going to give it all away. They may give a good chunk of it away, like philanthropy, to make them feel a little bit better. But if they really want to feel real better, they should just give it all away. They're gonna live. I mean, Zuckerberg got in trouble in Hawaii because where he was building his big mansion, he wanted to have a wall higher than 6 feet. Well, this is Hawaii. I mean, it's all about views. It's all about the environment out there. And he caught shit from the local county or the state saying, no, man, you can't build a wall over 6 feet. He goes, well, I need it for security. I'm Mark Zuckerberg. People are going to want to come and kill me. And they said, well, go build your house someplace else. Now, I don't know what the result of that was. My guess is, though, there was some money changed hands, and maybe he got a variance, and he was allowed to build it higher than 6 feet. But, I mean, guys
I
like
hadn't
that
heard about his,
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say.
No, I'm saying I hadn't heard about him building a mansion in Hawaii.
Yeah, it was a funny story because he's against, Trump building the wall. And so the story went, well, he's trying to build a wall around his estate, to keep people out, but he's against us having a wall to keep, foreign people out. And somebody posted a video today on YouTube, and it showed an interview on Fox News Sunday with Representative, I think, Cuellar from Texas, a Democrat. And first he was saying, well, the federal government shouldn't be deciding what kind of barrier you have on the border. And I'm like, what an idiot! I mean, that border is between the United. He goes, it should be. First, he said it should be local border patrol officials. I don't know how local, like maybe the guy who patrols a certain area, like 1 mile of it, and the local communities. Like the local community should have a say in a border between two countries, the United States of America and Mexico. So I mean, this border is not between like the people of El Paso in the country of Mexico, it's between the country of Mexico and the country of the United States. So then when Wallace said to him, he goes, well, just about everybody in the Border Patrol is supporting a wall. Is supporting a wall. Then he goes, well, you didn't hear me. I said the Border Patrol and the local communities. Well, local. What local? Like the local county, the local city, the local town? Like if you have a town and you decide in that little, that border that is bordered with Mexico for like 10 miles, linear miles, they get to decide what goes on that 10 miles, and the next town decides what goes on that 10 miles. Well, that's ridiculous. I mean, this guy, I don't know what he did for a living before he got to Congress, but I hope he's not a lawyer. I hope he's not a political scientist. I hope he didn't study international law, in law school or college, because this guy sounds like a complete moron. It's like, oh, you're gonna like have people raise their hand and say, no, it's an international border. The government has stepped into that role. It's not something for a state to decide. It's not something for a county or a city to decide. It is a duty of the federal government. It has nothing to do with what the locals want. I mean, you don't go ask people, well, what do you want here? No, it's what the federal government decides. Now it has to be decided through the executive branch and the Congress. The Article 1 branch, Article 2 branch, but it's the federal government's role to decide those issues. So all this is just nonsense. And Cinema. I mean, has she been doing anything stupid since she got in? What has she been saying? I haven't been following her. What has she been saying? Do you know?
I haven't really been following either, but what's interesting? I don't know if you know who Douglas Ducote is. I think he's the host of
I'm a sub to his site. I watch Douglas. I try to watch him every day, but I'm pretty busy with my own thing. But I watch him every couple of days for sure. I watch Douglas Ducote a lot.
He what's interesting, and I kind of noticed this too. He talked about how a lot of these new Democrats that got elected were military, and for the time being, they seem to have more of a right-leaning ideology. I mean, like you said, at least for the time being, that's the key words right there. And I think some of these new Democrats who got elected are actually pushing. And I was reading something today. I didn't get a chance to read it. It showed up in my newsfeed today. It was on Fox, I believe, where the Democrats say borders, a wall's out of the question, but some kind of physical barrier, is not necessarily out of the question. So it seems like maybe they're, if we can get some kind of barrier there, I mean, it doesn't have to be a medieval wall, you know what I'm saying? But there needs to be something that stops people from hopping the border, I mean, and I think maybe there is a tiny chance that maybe they will come to some kind of agreement, like maybe not necessarily the 5.7, but let's say they turn around and offer, 4.2 billion or something, I mean, I would hope they would take it, I mean, I understand, Trump can't back down on that, but it would be a step in the right direction to get the progress made. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For him to at least, and border walls being built even as we speak. You can go online and punch up different contracts. There's some company that I forget what it was, but they let out some contracts. I think to a couple of brothers in Texas that are going to build like 6 miles of border. They got like a 500 or 600 million. I think I could be wrong on that, but I know I did read something similar along those lines about that. There's barrier even being built even as we speak. Of course, the news isn't going to report on it.
No, and yeah. I mean, if you own property, as long as you can get past the county and whatever, with the structure, then you could build what you want on your own property, but you still, then you got to deal with. See, when the federal government does it, federal government pretty much has, for lack of a better word, an easement along the border. They have right of egress and ingress. They have a right to put whatever they want there. I mean, it's the border. So, and I don't know the specific statute that gives them that authority, but if you put something on your own private property that's not part of like that federal government easement, if you will, then you have to deal with the local county officials, local town officials on what you're actually putting on your property. So that's the only problem you run into there. Like again, back to if you have a limit, you can only put a 6-foot fence up, and you want to put a 30-foot fence up. Well, you're gonna have to go through the county, get a variance, and that kind of thing, probably.
Yeah. Well, the other problem that they face too is that a lot of reservation land, a lot of the Native Americans own reservation land, and we all know that these left-wing groups are already trying to collude with them to stop us from building a border wall. And
right.
From what I understand, some of them have actually welcomed, because these illegals come through and they tear up their land, they ruin their land, they ruin their farms, steal from their farms, I mean,
oh yeah, no,
I've never.
Yeah, they come through there, and like if they're hungry and there's food laying around, like somebody's got crops or a garden or whatever. Yeah, they're just gonna grab it and they're gonna take a shit all over the place. Whatever they're gonna do, leave trash. They leave trash behind. Yeah. Amy was talking about that the other night when she was talking about like places where they can't go hiking anymore. There's just trash there. People just. They just trash the place. And, again, it's our country. We get to decide who comes in and out. And if you don't have if you don't have good border security, which a huge part of that is a wall, a fence, I don't give a shit, a barrier, whatever the hell you want to call it. Yeah. Okay, a big part of that is doing just that. It's your first line of defense. If you want to have the drones, and then of course you need the manpower. But it's easier for the men on the ground if there's a barrier there in between them and the other side of the border. It's just who wouldn't say there is? I mean, of course it's easier if you got a barrier up there. I mean, that's why Border Patrol's is totally in favor of this, and they came out publicly and say it, but they never cover that in the mainstream media. Anytime they come out publicly and say it and have a press conference, nobody covers them. Yeah.
See, it's like when I was talking about Douglas Ducote, he has a lot of wisdom, but to me, the one who hits it out of the park 85% to 95% of the time is Derek Grayson. He knows, he is precise. He's been wrong on a couple things, but he has been very precise about everything, and he's said more than one time that Trump is going to get the wall, and it's coming, and it seems like I have to go back and read this article. I haven't read it. It was in my newsfeed today. But if they're starting to break a story about, some kind of barrier may be, needed, to me that means that somewhere along the line there's some Democrats, who are saying, okay, let's work with Trump. And like I was saying, there are some that are pressuring Pelosi because, I'm in favor of the thing that I hope does not happen. And, again, this is just me speaking from a libertarian's point of view. I hope that if the Democrats honor their word and give Trump the money for the wall, we all know Trump's going to honor his word and give them DACA. I would like to see DACA. So people that have come and, this is the only country they know, because most of them are pretty law-abiding citizens. They just want to, get by like everyone else does. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I just hope that the hardcore conservative movement doesn't interfere with that. You know what I'm saying? Because they can make this, nothing against them, but they can make this difficult for Trump, if they, because they're the ones that no amnesty, no DACA, and you can't have that. You have to have bipartisan deal with this. What some of these hardcore conservatives don't understand is Trump has to work. He has to close these gaps in our immigration system somehow.
Right.
And I, and it's cool if you disagree with me, but let's say if giving the Democrats DACA and 1.8 million illegals amnesty, if that's what it takes to guarantee the closing of all this and the guarantee of a physical barrier, then it's going to have to be that way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's cool if people disagree with me. I'm not trying to, but I'm just looking at the situation as it is right now.
No, look, I'm a pragmatist. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get rid of, the biggest thing to get rid of, is chain migration.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if you can get rid of chain migration, I'd rather take, if you have a choice, perfect world, you get the wall, you get rid of all the loopholes, but this is again, like I was arguing before, we're in a democratic republic.
Mm-hmm.
We have, we have, Congress, you have the legislative branch, you have the executive branch,
mm-hmm.
and if you want to get something done, life is about compromise. Life is about settlement. Oh, we can't compromise our values.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. Okay, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to get shit done.
Yeah.
So now you can't do what Reagan did, because Reagan went down that road and he gave amnesty and he was supposed to get border security, and he never got the border security. In fact, Reagan wrote about that years later, and Newt Gingrich talked about
Reagan. Yeah, but I think Reagan gave in first, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Right.
He kind of gave in first, and then they just kind of,
Right, and then.
I mean, I don't think Trump is playing that game.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can't play that game. Reagan meant well, and he thought there was honor on the other side. There wasn't. So you got to say, okay. So if you get rid of chain migration, which accounts for like a huge percentage of the immigration that comes into this country, they bring in their grandfathers, people who way older past, earning age, and they're just going to be here to collect benefits. Get rid of chain migration, get the wall, give them a couple of million people that are here anyway. I mean, and nobody, we can't round them all up. I mean, no matter how hard we work at it, it's not going to happen.
Possible.
It's not possible. It's logistically impossible. Period. Okay. So you give them what's already here anyway. You're not giving anything away, but you get the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, and you get the end of chain migration. You get rid of that lottery system where we bring in 50,000 people a year from crazy countries that hate us with. You get rid of that. You get rid of those kind of the crappy things. You may have to give up a couple of million people that are here anyway. And what you could do with that too is you could pick. You could put like constraints on who those people are. Like one, they either have to be in school, or they have to have a job, or they have to be in the military. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Where they're like work, and of course non-criminals. I don't, you can say not just felonies, but like DUI. Where you actually potentially can hurt, kill somebody. Where you're a responsible person. So you can put constraints on who these people are, and then so you're getting decent people. Now here's the deal with that also. Again, I keep bringing this up. Go back to 2004. That's when George. There was just a hint that there was going to be a huge immigration reform package. There was a hint that it was going to get done. George W. Bush that year in 2004 got 42% of the Hispanic vote. 42%, and that was just with the hint that there was going to be an immigration reform package that was going to get done. A lot of these Hispanics. This is my opinion. A lot of these Hispanics are natural Republicans. Look at their values. Look at the values of the Republican Party. It matches up. If you get, but a lot of them are single issue voters on immigration. I understand the single issue voter thing. Okay, I'm a big Second Amendment person. I get it. If you get rid of that single issue, if you wrap this whole thing up, and the people that are here, they get a pathway, and then you get the DACA, whatever. I tell you, if you get rid of that single issue like George Bush did in 2004, then suddenly these people are going to start voting. That single issue is gone. They're going to vote the way they normally would. They're going to vote for pro-business. You know, a lot of Hispanics own small businesses. They're going to vote pro-family. They're anti-abortion. They're Catholic. They're going to vote for lower taxes. They're going to vote for. A lot of these people live in like neighborhoods where there's a lot of crime. So they're going to vote for law and order type candidates as well because they don't want crime in their own neighborhoods. They're pro education. They come over here. They risk their lives to get their kids to a good educational system. You know, they're pro education, so they don't have a problem with homeschooling and all that stuff. And they don't like all this. Trust me, they don't like all this transgender shit. Okay, that does not go with the Catholic Church. And these people are diehard Catholics. So I'm telling you, you get rid of that issue, and you're going to watch. George Bush got 42% with just a promise of immigration reform. You get this done, that number goes beyond 42. Trump got 30%, and that was with calling them, you know, well, he didn't say it, but he said they send over their rapists and their murderers. And he still got 30% of that vote. Still got 30% of that vote. So it's there. It's there for the Republican Party if they can do the right thing. But you're right. They can't be like Reagan. They can't sell out. They got to do a whole package and get what we need done. And then you say, okay, you're here, fine. But that's it. It stops. Nobody else gets to come over here illegally. End of story. Game over. And then this country's going to go this country's going to go gangbusters. GDP is going to go through the roof.
I think things are turning around slowly, but the thing is, we have to, you know, there's a lot of work to do that we have to do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, we have to help educate people. We have to help, you know, and that's one of the things I like about PragerU and Turning Point USA. I'm more of a PragerU kind of guy because, you know, they have, I mean, I like Turning Point USA, but they kind of appeal more to a millennial conservative generation, and that's fine. You need that too. You know what I mean? But you know, they just, you know, and what doesn't really, you know, it's funny, what doesn't get talked about a lot is that a lot of former Bernie Sanders supporters are now Trump supporters. Like, I don't know if you know who H.A. Goodman is.
No.
He was, he's on YouTube. I watch him every once in a while, but he always said that he was a huge Bernie Sanders supporter, but when Bernie, when Bernie, turned against the, when Bernie basically sold out to the 1%, he was like, why would Bernie do this? Because Bernie was a little bit against the 1% too. I mean, I'm not don't get me wrong. I'm glad we got Trump, but if I had to take Bernie over Hillary, I would have taken Bernie, because at least Bernie didn't push that open borders nonsense. I mean, some people have described Bernie as a soft capitalist. I've heard people say that before, but I don't really know how you could get that determination with his socialist talking points.
No, I don't think he's a soft capitalist. Oh, just shout out to Voltron 512. Hey, Voltron. But no, I don't think he's a soft I think that was people's wishful thinking. People were I'll vote for him because he's really a soft capitalist deep down. He just talks his socialist game to get his base riled up and get him to vote for him. No, I think that's him true and true. I mean, if you look at his history, through the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, into the 2000s. No, I think he did his honeymoon in Moscow. So, I mean, this guy's diehard socialist. If he had got elected, it would have been. If he got elected, and it's a good thing he didn't get the nomination because he definitely had a much better chance of beating Trump than Hillary did. So it's a good thing he didn't get the nomination.
Yeah.
But a lot of people walked away from Bernie also because he sold out, at the convention. They said he should have made a big floor fight and taken on Hillary and said, "Hey, you ripped me off." And these WikiLeaks emails had just come out showing how the DNC was in bed with the Clinton campaign, and they say he should have had a big floor fight on that. And instead, he just, said, "No, I'm going to back Hillary." Then he ended up with a big house. He said he got it through probate. I don't know. So.
Well, I think, like I said, I think Trump's going to win re-election. I mean, it's not for certain, but I'd say he stands a very good chance of winning re-election. I mean, you have when you look at the amount of people who came out and voted for all the candidates that he backed, literally. I mean, he literally had to do people's homework for them because most people, let's face it, most people don't read nowadays. I mean, I'm guilty of it myself, you know, don't get me, I'm not putting myself on any pedestal, you know. But most people don't read. Most people don't look at politicians' constitutional voting records, you know. It's like, I think, what was it, like 40 some candidates that Trump backed won? I mean, that's a lot. That's a huge amount. You know, given all the voter fraud that took place, and you know, given all the fraud, you know, illegals voting and fraud that, you know, took place, and you know, some of this idiocy that they were doing to try and turn elections. I mean, it's laughable.
Oh wait,
you know,
I tell you what,
it's scary, but it's laughable.
I tell you what, I'm going to let you go because I got another call coming in. I'm going to take this one, okay?
Oh yes, I'm sorry, Carl. Okay, I'll see you back in the chat room. All right.
All right, bye-bye.
All
right. We got Nunya Business on the phone. Is this Nunya Business?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Mr. Douchebag, didn't want to cut you off, but I don't have like a sophisticated call-in thing. So when someone's calling in, if I don't take the call, then I lose the call. So, yeah, I don't want to cut you off, Mr. Great Douchebag. Thank you for calling in. That was excellent conversation, by the way. I just want to say thank you very much. And thanks, and also just thanks for supporting the channel, man. Totally appreciate it. But anyway, Nunya, what are you up to? What's going on?
Oh, not too much. I was just thinking, this is way, way back in the beginning of you and Douchebag's conversation, and it's been swirling in my mind. So this is like dragging back the topic a little bit, and I'm going to dumb it down because I'm not as quick and smart as you guys. I was just thinking, and now I can't even remember what was said that brought this into my head. But my husband had mentioned way back, like let's just take the stuff that went on with Kavanaugh. When you do stuff like that, you set a precedent, right?
Yeah. I mean, as far as setting a precedent for like the next time the Democrats have somebody in the White House and they want to nominate somebody, then we get to be hard on them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. If you can't let Joe get away with it, then you can't let Susan get away with it later.
Well, no, and I agree with that, but I hate to tell you this, but this double standard is about to bite us in the ass, and I'll tell you why. Because my guess is Ginsburg's going to hold on to until, well, we're in 2019, but I bet she holds on till January of 2020. And then the Republicans are gonna want to confirm Trump's new appointment, and the Democrats are gonna scream, "Wait a second! You said you couldn't confirm Merrick Garland because you were playing by the rule where you don't, nominate, you don't put a new Supreme Court justice on the bench, in the middle of an election year." So I guarantee you that's going to come back and bite us in the ass, and McConnell's just going to have to say, "Well, yeah, that was a double standard, and we're still going to, confirm, Trump's appointment to the Supreme Court." So you hide and watch. That double standard is going to come back and bite us in the ass. But I mean, hey, that's just the way. That's just the way it goes. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's what's going to happen. I know that's what's going to happen. That woman's going to live just past January 1st, 2020. And then, or she can resign well, she wouldn't resign in 2020 because she wouldn't be that cute. But it'll be like after January 1st, like after midnight, right when the ball drops, then suddenly she's, the next day, and then the Republicans going to want to confirm Trump's appointment. Democrats going to yell foul, say no, that ain't right, and who knows? Maybe they even get a couple of Republicans to balk at it. Also, I don't know. That could happen.
That's true. That door does swing both ways. But in my opinion, which isn't worth all that much, from what I've been seeing, most of like all the stuff that everybody complains and blames Trump of doing and or thinking, or other Republican leaders in whatever section they're in, that usually it seems to me like it's mostly a Democrat thing. I'm not saying like all Democrats are bad and all Republicans are good. I'm not that dumb.
Right.
But it just seems like as far as integrity is concerned, people in glass houses don't throw stones. I think you've said that before too.
Right.
Or somebody did.
Well,
Probably you.
Yeah, well,
No.
Socrates said it pretty good too. He said, one should mind one's own business, and which means there's two parts to that. One, mind your own business, take good care of your business, right? And two, don't mind somebody else's. Okay, so the same thing. People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Take care of your own house because we all live in glass houses. We all have something. None of us are perfect, so we all have some faults. So we all live in a glass house. So take care of your own house and don't be throwing stones at somebody else's. Yeah, but so I totally agree with that concept.
Yeah. So like, you'll have to give the names because I'm super bad with names because I don't say them so it doesn't go into my brain. But this guy in, I think is it Virginia, who he had when he was back in college.
Oh,
He did
Northam, Governor Northam. Is that his name, Northam?
yeah,
So somebody write out the spelling of his
yeah.
name in the chat room. I want to say Governor Northam, but I know I'm butchering that. So I think it's Governor Northam.
So,
Yeah.
and you can't say that there weren't a whole lot of people around this man who were probably aware that in his past he did some of these things. Now, here's my opinion on this. That was what, 30 years ago, I think
30,
said?
35 years ago, 1984, 35 years ago.
Yeah. So people do change and grow and mature and whatever else stuff you want to throw in there. So there's some people who have had their minds changed just recently concerning being Democrat to a Republican. And we would probably look at that as growing and maturing on our side anyway. And just because last week they were on the side of stupid and now they're starting to come around to the side of not so stupid, we don't nail them to the wall for what they were doing before. Okay, you voted for Hillary, but now you realize you made a mistake and you probably won't make that mistake again. We forgive and forget.
Yeah. Well, the problem.
So in my opinion,
yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in my opinion, that if the left wouldn't have been for the last 2-3 years acting like such maniacs over anything that somebody did from the time of birth until now, then this wouldn't be as much of an issue. He could have said, back then, I was running with the bad crowd. I didn't understand. Now I've learned. I've grown as a human being. Look at all of the people that I'm with. I would never do something. I'm ashamed of that. That's how come I don't tout it out. It's not hanging on my wall. It's not framed over the sofa. You could probably back out of something like that. But because of the precedent that the left has set, any dirty laundry from either side that gets dug up and everybody's digging. There's people out there who have nothing better to do but eat corn chips in their mom's basement and try to find dirt on somebody.
No, I totally get your point. Is that you're right. If it wasn't for probably the way they went after Kavanaugh, if it would have happened 30 years ago, it might have been 30, actually longer. I think it was about 35, 40 years ago. Because Kavanaugh. See, I'll tell you how long it was. Because Kavanaugh is my age. We're both 53, both born in 1965. So this happened when he was in high school. That would have been 1982, 83. So yeah, so it's actually longer because it was 37 years ago. So you're right, though. It's okay, they made a big stink about what happened, what he did 37 years ago, what he was saying in his yearbook 37 years ago. And so this guy, as soon as this came out, first he goes, "Oh, I did it. I'm sorry." And then he came out and said, "Well, shit, I better say it wasn't me." So yeah, you're right. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And so now he's in a lot of pressure because, right, if the whole Kavanaugh thing hadn't gone down, he said, just like you said, it was a long time ago. I was stupid. I was running with the wrong crowd. I didn't understand. I was a young kid, and I was in this really small town in Virginia, and that's what kind of everybody did. And I didn't realize how wrong it was. But now I evolved. My favorite saying, I've evolved. And the last 20 years, 30 years, I've been really good on race relations. I really see the error of my ways, and I've been supporting progressive policies for the last 25 years, and everybody knows that about me. And yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, that wasn't me today. That was me back when I was 25 years old. Yeah, I agree, but he couldn't because of the Kavanaugh thing. And Amy's right.
Yeah, well, not just
There was
the
no evidence.
Kavanaugh.
There was no evidence on Kavanaugh. So there's a big difference too. There was no evidence on
Yeah,
Kavanaugh. With this guy, there was evidence that one yearbook and actually two more yearbook photos came out. Also, I think.
yeah. I think Kavanaugh was probably a bad example for it's not apples and apples here, but there's I'm not despite the fact that I'm in all of the political shows and everything, what I have is opinions. If you ask me a question, I give you what my opinion is based on my life experiences and stuff. That's what I'm good at. So I want to talk politics, I really do, but I failed miserably in school in social studies, and I'm not up on I can't even remember the governor of my state. Is it governor? Yeah, I don't know. See, I know nothing. I'm as ignorant as they come. All I have is opinion. So when I use certain things, that's just because that's the most uppermost in my head was Kavanaugh. I don't believe that Kavanaugh I don't believe he did anything wrong. I think it was all lies and deceit and BS, especially when you looked at
no.
what happened
Yeah, I mean,
after the fact.
Well, I agree. I think remember now, and I knew all this stuff back during this proceeding because I was researching it. But like she went through like a hypnotherapy, like for like repressed memory hypnotherapy, and a lot of journals have come out against that, saying it brings like memories that you really don't have. They get associated with like people and things like that, and they're very dangerous because this guy's in the news. He was in the news when he went to get approved for the Circuit Court of Appeals when she was first going to therapy. He was going through the Circuit Court of Appeals process, and so that was somebody she knew from school. And so suddenly, maybe something happened to her, maybe something didn't. I don't know. But then suddenly this guy's name gets associated with it because now, and also it's kind of a narcissistic thing. It's like if you're going to be sexually assaulted by somebody, maybe it's better to be sexually assaulted by somebody famous, somebody powerful, because then it lets you off the hook. This guy was too powerful. He had too many friends. But the thing that really got me was that she named, she goes, like, because I think part of me thinks it was set up, but part of me thinks she actually believes it, that she's psycho. That she names 4 people. She goes, oh, these 4 people will back me up. They know. They were there. They'll back me up. Right? And then, sure enough, these 4 people come out and say, no, man, that never happened. We would have known something would have happened. We were there, supposedly. And guess what? The guy you say that was there at this party that we think you're talking about, if the best thing we could do is track it to a time when we were together, he wasn't there. So, she goes, oh, but she really believed these 4 people would say, yeah, that happened. And these 4 people say, no, man. They didn't say she's delusional because some of them were her friends. But they said, no, that just didn't happen. And she refused. And once that memory gets stuck in your head through all this weird psychologist crap, it's stuck there. And nobody's going to get you off of it, But part of me also think it was a little devious also because she's very much, pro-abortion and, that kind of stuff. So, this was like an angle I think she was trying to work. I mean, she lawyered up pretty fast. She got a publisher. I mean, she put that GoFundMe page out there and, got like $900,000 or something. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff and say she needed security teams and all this. And plus, she works. The whole family's kind of goofy. Like I think her brother was in the CIA, or her father was in the CIA, and then she worked she was like a recruiter. She worked at like teaching young recruits in the CIA at this one college she works at, right next to the college she teaches at. I mean, there was just too much weird stuff going on, and then the lies, like she was afraid to fly, and then here's like the boyfriend coming. Well, we flew to Hawaii and did little puddle jumpers through the islands. And those puddle jumpers aren't nice planes. I've flown on puddle jumpers, on vacation. The little prop planes, the wind affects them a lot. And she had no problem flying that. So then she just started lying and making stuff up. And, that's when it got really scary for me that this person is a liar. There's something wrong with it. This person is pathological. And it seemed like the more she lied, the more she had to keep telling the lie over and over again. And, she obviously rehearsed, her speech she gave to Congress. She was prepped on the kind of questions she'd be asked, and that kind of stuff. So, then she tried to play the little girl act, which is ridiculous. I mean, the woman got a PhD and she's pretending like she's a little girl up there. Oh, I mean, really, really, I don't buy
Yeah.
that. I mean, I know women with PhDs. I know women with Juris Doctorates, women lawyers. I know women judges. Trust me, these aren't like little, like wimpy little girls. I know women prosecutors. They're not like little wimpy girls going, oh, well. I mean, even young kids, women prosecutors, kids. I call them kids now. I mean, people in their 20s. They're like, well, yeah, no, they're not like that. Let alone this woman who's like my age, 53. She's not like that. I mean, come on. I mean, that's what scared me the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But I just wanted to just put in my little 2 cents and hijack your show for a second. So
Totally not hijacked it. You brought up some really good points there. I mean, really, really good points. I mean, that's like, yeah. I mean, that whole thing though with this governor. You're right. If it wasn't for the way the Democrats went after Kavanaugh, then maybe he would have had some room to, to move around a little bit. But he has no room now. And plus, I'll be honest with you. I was 19 in 1984, and he was 25, and I lived in Houston. And you know what? Wearing blackface and Klan outfits, it wasn't cool in 1984. Okay, it wasn't acceptable. Okay, I don't even know anybody who did it, and I was on a pretty big campus. I was at the University of Houston. That's a big campus, and nobody was like nobody threw any parties like blackface party, Klan party. So this guy doing this now, mind you, now he's in medical school. He's not 19. He's 25. Well, I mean, you're a lot more of an adult at 25 than you are at 19, and he's doing this. I mean,
yeah.
you
Well,
have to know
I
by
definitely
then.
wasn't defending what he
Oh
did.
no, I know you're not. I know you're not.
Because I was around in 1985 as well, and I never even heard of anything like that. I thought that was just in the old movies.
Yeah, I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
yeah,
I've never seen anything like that in person ever, but it was just trying to say, like you might have some worm room if you guys hadn't set the precedence, but because
right.
they set the precedence that you have to be the golden child and walk on water to get through in the government, then he would have had some, he could have said something, but there's nothing to say because they don't let the Republicans, when they get caught doing something stupid in their past or recently, they're dogs on a bone with that. And a lot of Democrat or left-wingers or middle-of-the-roaders or whoever, I spend all day scrolling around and looking at people's comments in different videos and formats because I think that's a good way to get a feel for what the people are really thinking. And according to what I've been seeing, even people on the left are throwing this guy under the bus because of what he did.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, they don't have a choice. They have to throw him under the bus. I mean, they don't have a choice. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. I mean, they can't defend it, and plus his explanations are all over the place. The whole moonwalking thing, the Michael Jackson thing. It's like, the guy should have brought two shovels with him to that press conference because he wasn't digging a hole fast enough with the one shovel. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. But again, the point I was trying to make about like I never heard of anybody doing that. It's like I think you almost have to kind of go out of your way in 1984 to think of doing something like this to put this on. It's like a lot of conscious thought has to go into it. So it's not like, oh, I showed up and somebody handed me some shoe polish and I just did it. No, I mean, you'd have to find a place to do this, a party and a group of people to hang out with that are also like-minded. And again, in Houston in 1984, this was not a cool thing to do. And Houston is not the Virginia, but it's still the South, kind of. It's Texas. So, no, I mean, this guy, I don't know. And the thing is, if this had come out a long time ago and he explained it a long time ago, that's one thing. But the idea that it comes out after he just got elected in 2017, yeah, it's like, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
he'll stay on unless the Republicans control both the Senate, the state Senate, and the House in Virginia. So somebody was saying there's a way to remove him that way. I don't know, but if somebody's not planning on removing him, he's going to have his office. But you can't run for 2 consecutive terms in Virginia anyway. You're allowed 1 term, and then I guess you could maybe run again for a second term, but you have to like skip a term. Somebody was telling me that. I didn't look it up, but I think that's true.
Oh, I have no idea. So,
Yeah.
but I'm going to go ahead and get off the phone, but real quick, because I see something is that my sis has entered the room, and so I want to squeak for my sis.
Okay, good deal. Oh, Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, you definitely got your shout out there. So, hey, thanks for calling in and great discussion. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Carl. Goodbye.
All right. Bye bye. All right, that was a great Nunya business, and yeah, I just want to welcome Texas RN to the chat room. How you doing, Texas? And so, but and a really good discussion there. Yeah, Governor Northam. Again, I was in Houston back in 1984, and I don't remember anybody even having a discussion like, "Hey, let's have a blackface party," or saying, "Let's have a Klan party." I mean, it just didn't come up. I mean, and if it had come up, I mean, I'm sure the reaction would have been like, "What?" Up, another call coming in, and it looks like Texas RN is going to be on the phone. So here we go. Hello, Texas RN. You're on live with Carl's Opinion. This is Carl. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I took a long nap. I Rip Van Winkled it after the chopping block, and so I woke up and saw you were on, and hello, and I like say, squeeze, Nanya, hey, Mom, everybody. Hey, I was laughing at Amy say she was hopped up on cold mist. That was hilarious. So when I woke up to you all talking about Kavanaugh. So I don't know what I missed, but I wanted to add something from you. I know it's been months, but something that I saw was really interesting. And there's a guy named Ali Alexander. He's worked in politics for a long time. He's kind of young. He's out of the Dallas area. Well, anyway, he made so much. There was something that was so clear to me about Blasey Ford. Her connections and stuff, and her ties to some of the players was just. It was a whole lot. At first, I think she was lying completely. And when the attorney asked her, have you ever prepared anyone for a lie detector test? And everyone thought, what is that? Well, because she had done that before.
Yeah, she'd actually taught students. Well, she had prepared the one friend of hers.
Lie detector
Yeah,
test.
and I think she actually had taught a class, not class, but like the CIA recruits on like how to pass a lie detector, how to lie, how to successfully pass a lie detector test when you're lying. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this was so interesting because no one was expecting Brett Kavanaugh's calendar. I mean, that was like, wow. He had those calendars, and it was really emotional. He was reading them and the days. And this is what his friend, the one who's had battles alcohol and depression and a lot of things. He gave his statement, a written one, but he didn't show up, to be on TV like that because that was part of some of his problem. He had anxiety. Well, anyway, he wrote that book, and it was like loosely based on his friendships with Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh's name had a spin to it too, and it was like 4 characters. Well, anyway, this is what I believe. This is what this guy believed, and it's starting to make sense that she did. Blasey Ford did. She read that book, and so she then started to kind of have to formulate a story that ended up not making sense because the house that they would have been at that time, well, she didn't know that guy, and then her friend would have been like 13 years old at this party with high schoolers. So again, it just fell through, but it's like she tried to use a book of fiction to go against this man.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
See what I mean?
Yeah, and that I had not heard. I'm hearing that for the first time. So thanks for bringing that to me. So basically, this guy had written a book, a fictional account, and she took the facts from that book and then made those the facts against Brett Kavanaugh, which explains why he's like going ballistically crazy. When you get accused of something that's like
Yes.
completely false, not just a little bit true, but completely false, and it's totally made up. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that drives you nuts.
Yes.
You're like, wait, that never happened. And of course, it never happened because it was about some 13-year-old kid, some
It's
fictional
a
account.
fiction, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Well, her friend, the one who vehemently denied it, because no one collaborated her story. And two, the friend that was unable to, I saw a picture of that friend, and she's gone through a lot. Like, it physically looks like she's been through a lot, so she's very sick.
yeah,
The one who would have been with her at the party.
right.
So everyone denied it. And again, it's like you go and copy. I almost tripped over the cat. It's like this. Like if I were to, you meet someone and you say stuff like, I love when a person wears purple, and then the person who is stalking wears purple every time you see them, and then
Right.
you make another comment, and then they just become whatever your book is stating. But that's why she changed the story up a little bit each time, because it wasn't making sense because of his calendar.
Right.
Too.
Yeah.
So
Thank God he had that calendar because,
thank God he had that calendar.
yeah, and he
The level of discipline of this man and tradition.
yeah, because and they say some of the things in that calendar were like, well, he's a 17-year-old kid. I remember being 17, and just like him, I went to an all boys Catholic school, and when you're 17, a lot of what you do is drink and get drunk. We used to make plans. Yeah, we used to make plans to go out and drink. Like it was almost like in that movie. God, what's in the movie? The movie Goodfellas. It's like, well, Friday night was with Friday night was with the wives, and Saturday night was with the girlfriends. Well, like for us, it was like like for me, it was like Friday night was with the guys to get drunk. That was it. We were going to get drunk, and Saturday night was like we went on a date. So but you would make plans all week long, and of course we're all underage. So then the plan is always part of, okay, where are we going to go to buy the beer? Where can we go? And then we were in Houston back in the that's the late 70s. So we had a lot of Vietnamese refugees coming over, and of course they owned a lot of those little like U-Totem stores and those little like kind of 7-Eleven stores, right? So of course they don't believe they don't believe in a drinking age, and they're all about making money. So you'd walk in there. We looked 17, we looked 15 probably. And you'd walk in there, and the guy would say, "Oh, are you 19 or whatever the drinking age was?" "Oh, yeah, we're 19." "Okay, here."
As your voice cracks.
Yeah, as your voice cracks and everything, you're walking out literally with 2-3 cases of beer. But we would make plans just to go out and get drunk. We'd find like Highway 6 over in Sugar Land. I know you're familiar with that. Well, Highway 6 back then was like, it was 2 lanes each way, but it wasn't like a thoroughfare like I hear it is now. So there were all these like rest stops on the side of the road. So we would literally go buy a bunch of beer, go to this rest stop, and drink and get drunk. That's what we did. The Highway Texas, the Department of Public Safety cops would come by, flash a light on you, and as long as we weren't doing anything stupid, they would just drive on off.
Right.
They could tell we were a bunch of kids who were drinking beer. You could see us from a mile away. But we weren't doing anything dumb, so they just pull in, hit you with the spotlight, and then drive away. But that's what we did. So the idea that he has all these drinking things in his yearbook, like going to this party to get drunk, basically you get drunk here and drunk there and this drunk. Okay, that's what we did. That's what we did. So he's not a bad guy.
Beer was the cigarettes. Beer was the cigarettes. Was the date? Was it was everything. And this is another thing that it's now been scrubbed from the net. But and I wish I wasn't able to say that. I don't know how to do some of that stuff. But I overheard her. Someone had a conversation. When people go digging, they find stuff. Well, anyway, she was talking to that lawyer friend, that kind of that radical rabbit feminist anti-Trump attorney, her friend.
Right.
She says to the friend, she's on the phone talking to her, and Christine referred to Kavanaugh as the candidate. She goes, well, we're going to do this, but at least it will hinder the candidate's chances. Now, do you really call the person who assaulted you the candidate?
Yeah, you wouldn't call someone the
Yeah,
candidate. You call them like that
the
asshole,
candidate.
that loser, that
Yes,
rapist,
right.
that all kind.
Mhm.
You call the candidate. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's why part of it. I'm thinking like, okay, it's like from the repressed hypnotherapy, but then part of it I think was just evil. Because when she was started
Oh
lying,
yeah, it was.
yeah,
It would have to. Because, I mean, for her to come up there looking the way she did with the glasses, the voice, and then that awesome the body language chick,
yeah,
that
I
did
saw,
an
yeah, I saw that,
analysis
yeah.
of her too. I mean, that was brilliant. But yeah, I tell you, watching that go through, it literally it made me so angry. And that was a big turn in America too, because even when she was giving her testimony, she referred to his school as a privileged white male school or something like that. And I thought, here we go again. I mean, so again, it wasn't. None of this was true, and I really don't believe anything happened to her. And then she kept lying about the flying, and then she goes, "Oh well, but when the trips are pleasurable, then I fly." And then the ex-boyfriend of hers said that she abused his credit cards after they broke up.
Oh yeah, not to mention she went to school. She went, I think, to get her doctorate. I think she went to school in Hawaii. So I mean, that wasn't a pleasurable trip. She was flying out there, to go to school, and I think she was out there for 2 years. So she was flying back and
Mm-hmm.
forth. Her family lived on the East Coast. Their family didn't even live on the West Coast. They still lived up in Virginia or wherever they were. So, or Maryland, whatever state they were in. So she was flying back and forth, probably like on Christmas break, probably not spring break because she was a big party girl
Mm-hmm.
too. I mean, her and her friends
Yeah.
at the all girls school. I mean, their yearbook was full of all kinds of, oh, we're going to go get laid, we're going to go get drunk.
Right.
That
And
was
that's okay too, but for her to lie on him, I mean, and so
yeah.
it just brought up all her skeletons and stuff. But I do think there will be a price to pay for her. Everyone thinks that she really got away with it, but I saw the look on Feinstein's face when that final, I guess the FBI's analysis or something of what happened after they went through the seventh. Whatever that was,
Background
with him,
check.
And they investigated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
background check, and then they invested the investigation.
Right.
Yeah, she just completely lied, and I tell you.
Yeah, because right, the Democrats pushed for it, and then that's when that idiot in Arizona went along with it and asked for an extra time
Yeah,
to
Flake.
do. Yeah, Jeff Flake, to get the extra background check. So they went along with it. And they said fine, and they spent like an extra week interviewing all the witnesses.
Yes.
They did their own investigation, interviewed all the witnesses, and they came back and said, "No, man, it didn't happen. We can't substantiate any of this."
Yes.
And that was the end of days.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
and to lie on her friends, because I know that those people probably were like, "Look, don't bring us into this. This is not true." I mean, that all of your friends said no, that this never happened. I mean, it was made up, and she knew it was made up. And again, like I said, she went to try to end the man's career over something, over a book of fiction.
Yeah, and then because two of the friends, like two of the friends she went after, the one woman who was physically ill, who got in a ski accident, or I don't know what happened to her, and she started throwing her under the bus, saying, "Oh, she's got all kinds of psychological problems." And then the one, the Kavanaugh's friend who she threw under the bus immediately said, "Oh, he was there, he was part of it." And this guy's like, "Whoa!" Now his life got ruined. I mean, his name was all over the press and all over the news. And I don't know what he did for a living, but I'm sure that was fun. And then it's just, I mean, but she didn't care. The Democrats didn't care. They didn't care about any people they hurt.
Right.
It's like this Mueller investigation. All the people that are getting hurt by this. Everybody being prosecuted are either being prosecuted for things they did after the investigation started or things way before they got involved with Trump. Well, Manafort way before they got involved with Trump, and then everybody else, whether it be Stone or Papadopoulos or whoever else, is all post-investigation starting. So it has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with what they were actually being investigated for. It's just how they conducted themselves after the investigation began, which tells you nothing.
Right.
It tells you nothing. It doesn't say they found this him hanging out with Vladimir Putin, and then the FBI was putting all these plants, all these confidential informants, and all these plants to try to entrap these people to begin with. I mean, this was all they were setting this up. They didn't want this guy to win. And they were trying to put in place something where they've got guys offering them, hey, I got a bunch of emails, from the Clinton campaign. You want to buy them? And these guys are like, shit, man. I thought you wanted to talk about foreign policy. Who the hell? What are you talking about? No, I don't want any goddamn. I don't want any goddamn emails. Get the hell away from me. But these guys were being approached, saying, hey, you look like a pretty smart guy. It's like, you want some emails? Huh? No, all these things. And that one guy, that one professor from Malta. Nobody could find him. He's vanished. And he was like, the one guy from Russia or Ukraine, I don't know, somewhere, he was like on the FBI payroll, and he kept like going in and out of the FBI payroll, and he was trying to get his immigration status, and they got tired of him, and then he goes, well, what if I try to get some shit on these guys? And they're like, yeah, go for it. And then of course they're like, hey, I got some stuff over here, I got some emails. Like, and all of them were like, what are you talking? Get away from us. Corsi was like the biggest one. Like, what the hell do you, what? Get lost, And it's the same thing there. I mean, it's all like a setup. That whole Mueller investigation is just, it's nonsense. And when this guy finally writes his report.
It's flubbing because it's not real. It's like they're trying to. Yeah, all of it's going, and this is, I'm sorry, I wrote this stuff down. It's like it's a couple more things. And who was the guy they were following mostly because he was a campaign person, not Manafort, but the young guy, the tall guy. Forgot his name.
Oh, Papadopoulos?
No, not Papadopoulos, the American guy. It was
the guy who worked at the Naval Academy? I mean, the guy who graduated the Naval Academy, that guy? The guy this whole thing started with?
No.
Corsi? Jerome Corsi?
Oh, no, this was the one directly, from 2016 when they put that, and when they were followed, Carter Page.
Yeah, okay.
Is that right? Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, they said that the Russians said that he was too dumb to be useful. I thought that was kind of sad. They said that.
Well, yeah, that is kind of sad.
Actually, yeah, it was like everyone got a laugh out of it. It was like, it just goes to show they were following this guy, and he's just as unassuming and just nice, and But anyway, I got a little tidbit for you. I don't know if you all talked about it, but rapper 21 Savage was arrested by ICE.
I don't even know who that guy is. Who is he?
Okay, so he's one of the rappers. He's actually from the UK. He talks about being from Georgia, being from Decatur, thug, and he has tattoos on his face, tattoos. He's a rapper. He's been here since '05. So he's overstayed a visa. But look at what he did. I mean, here he was rapping all this negativity, all this, this low degenerate culture.
Oh, so wait, hold on.
Not even American.
Okay, so hold on. So in other words, he was trying to say he was from the hood here in America, and so he was rapping about all this stuff that, of course, he didn't know anything about personally because he didn't grow up in it. And then it turns out he's actually from the UK, and it turns out that ICE paid attention to him and realized he overstayed his visa, and they picked him up. So everything he's been singing about, yeah. Okay, so then he put a bunch of prison tats on his face and shit to say he had street cred, and he is probably some guy from some expensive suburb outside of London or something.
Yeah. So again, with even these rappers, it goes to show you too that he got it from the fact that the culture has been allowed to remain and become so degenerate with this filth, with the music and the. Just the whole, quote, gangster lifestyle, but he just cashed in on it like a whole lot of other people do.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole bunch of them that were never they're never in the quote-unquote game. They were never in the rap game or the drug game or whatever game. But, they throw some tats on themselves and, maybe they go hit somebody in the face to get arrested, do some county time for like a day or two, come out and say, I was inside, I was in the joint, let me tell you about my harsh life. And then it turns out they didn't have a harsh life at all, and they were just fine. Their parents are probably saying, "What the hell is he talking about, man? We lived in the suburbs. We had a good life, and a lot of I guess maybe not a lot of rappers, but there are rappers out there that do that want to pretend like they're in the game and they lived a life, and they didn't live any life. Their life was probably like my life, actually. So I don't know. Well, I got a turntable, and I was going to start doing some rap music on here, but I couldn't get the damn needle to work on the turntable. And I was going to go, on the turntable, and then start doing like, hey, this is Carl's opinion, and I'm here telling you about my opinion, and this is Carl, and this is my opinion.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but
beatbox, yeah.
but I couldn't get the damn needle to work on the turntable, and so I couldn't do it. And so I was really disappointed because I was going to do that as one of my intros. Like it'd be like like where it says like the title for this one says post Super Bowl live call-in show. So it's going to be like live call-in and live rap concert starring Carl's opinion. And then instead of like when I play the music, how I play the music before the video starts. It was going to be me. It was going to be me singing with the doing my rap music stuff, and then I was going to have background music that I downloaded and playing that. So. But yeah,
change your name to the Notorious CO.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you. Okay, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm writing that down. Wait, Voltron says don't do it.
Okay.
Voltron's like, don't do it, Carl. Don't do it. Wait, I'm using that name though.
Right. Anyway, well, hey, I just wanted to throw those things in, and and I'll be in the chat.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks, Texas, and thanks for the idea on the notorious CO.
The notorious CO, like Carl's opinion. Yeah.
I own that one now. All right, girl. Thanks so much for calling in.
Okay.
Bye bye.
All right then. Okay. Hey. Bye bye.
Bye bye. That was the great Texas RN. Thank you so much, Texas, for calling in and for giving my new rap name, the Notorious CO, as in Notorious Carl's Opinion. Yes. So as soon as I get this turntable working, I figured, I signed up for this one subscription a long time ago. That's where I get a lot of the music from, so I don't get a copyright strike. Is this one company I signed up for? Musicbed.com. You pay a fee for the year, and there's some they're like young artists who obviously are not well known because they sell their songs, the rights to their song to this company, and then you get to use all these songs, and you don't pay that much for the year, so obviously these guys aren't making a lot of money, but at least they get their songs out there and stuff. And also, then I can use them without getting a copyright strike on YouTube, which is really cool. So, like, I'll get like a notification. So, like, it comes in like as a copyright claim, not a strike. And then, so it comes in as a claim, and then this company clears it. And then they send me then both YouTube YouTube doesn't send me an email. YouTube puts it on my on my home channel page, and then this musicbed.com company. They send you an email saying, yeah, we cleared your thing. And the benefit they get, of course, is that if my site was monetized, then they get the monetization from from that any commercial time they get from that, they get that, which I don't care. But I mean, there's some really cool songs. A lot of the songs you hear me playing, in fact, all the songs you hear me playing come from there, and they're really good songs. They're young artists who are trying to get a start. And, this is a way to get their songs out there at least. So it's a win-win-win. It's a win for musicbed.com probably more than anybody. But it's a win for these young artists who get their songs out there and get played. I play them. Other people play them. And it's a win for me because I get to play some. YouTube has like a song list you can use. But, they suck. The songs on their playlist, they're not really any good. I mean, I would have played them. But this company has some young independent artists that, are really creative. And so you get a lot of creative type songs, and who knows, maybe 10 years from now they're famous, or 5 years from now. I don't know. But some of these songs are really good. The quality is like, you hear some of the songs they play, they're really good, really good quality songs. Like Kings and, I think one song, Kings and Queens, and a bunch of other stuff I play. But yeah, I usually start the show and end the show with their songs. So anyway, but I was going to use one of their songs as background, like an instrumental song, and then hook up I got a mixer board here, a 4-mic mixer board with like 12 ports, and I was going to run that through the RCA jacks into the mixer board, which runs through the USB port to the computer, which goes up to YouTube, and I was going to have the background music playing an instrumental, like a rap song, just instrumental, and then my little record turntable goes, and then me singing. So the best part would be if you probably didn't hear my voice too much, but because I can't sing worth a shit. But I used to do karaoke. Does that count? No, probably not. But anyway, so anybody wishes to call in to prevent me from singing, that's probably a good idea. Phone number is area code 775-273-8970. If you want to do a video link, and again, I'll show you what that would look like. Let me get over to that. That would be like this. I would be here. Hey, that would be me. And then you would be over there. That's where you'd be. You'd be over there. And you'd be on video. None of Your Business did that, I think, last week. It's fun. You get to appear on live, which is seen by millions of people worldwide. Millions of people. That's right, millions of people. But, yeah, because, YouTube says it's only, it's not a million, but we all know it's a million. We all know it's a million. But there were some other stories I did want to cover. We kind of went through the economy. Let me come back over to the Wall Street Journal. Let's see, what was this story? Let me try to find it real quick. No, that wasn't it. So just give me a second to pull this up here. There was some interesting stories here. Let's see. No, this might be kind of interesting. No, let's see if we find something else real quick here. Here's world news. I was talking about earlier about the Venezuela thing already, and I guess there was some dam that broke. Let me see here. What was this? Nah. Let's see here. Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah, this is an interesting story. All right, let's cut over here, and let's put me up in here. Hopefully on the right side of the page. I am. Go figure. All right, dam inspectors had close ties to owner. This was a dam that busted up in Brazil, and let's see here. So, firm that certified Vale's ill-fated Brazil reservoir was also paid for other jobs in potential conflict. So the dam inspectors, the actual inspectors in Brazil, had close ties to the owner, and he was getting paid. So let's see what they have to say about this. This is interesting. I guess the company that certified the safety of a Brazilian waste dam that collapsed in January, killing at least 115 people, has worked as both a consultant and an independent safety evaluator for the dam's owner, raising questions among experts over potential conflicts of interest. Employees of the company, Germany's TUV SUD, that Vale SA hired to certify the safety of the Brazilian company's ill-fated dam, also acted as consultants. That's funny, on Vale mine closures in Brazil, documents show. Further illustrating the two companies' close ties, employees also co-wrote research reports at Vale and spoke at conferences with mining giant workers. They weren't even trying to hide it, so that's pretty crazy. But let's see here. Let me get to some other story I wanted to get to here. Let's see. Nope. And this is important here. This kind of goes along with what we were talking about earlier regarding the jobs report, and let's cut across. Jobs report won't spur Fed moves. That's good. Let's see. Let me just jump this here real quick. Make it a little bit bigger so you can read it a little bit better. There we go. Okay, this is important because everybody, the Fed just recently said, okay, we're going to stop raising interest rates, which was killing Trump's economy, because inflation got over 2%. And they're like, oh, we gotta kill the economy now, and that's what kind of actually held back economic growth in the fourth quarter of 2018, and it probably depressed the whole number for 2018 as the annual GDP growth, because they were hoping to be above 3. It might come in like a 2.9, if I'm not mistaken. So, thanks Feds for screwing everything up. But anyway, they did just recently say, okay, we're gonna keep our foot off the brake, and let's see. Let me figure out what this is going on here. All right, there we go. They're saying we're going to take our foot off the brake and we're going to stop raising interest rates. It's like, wow, and the market, of course, reacted. It was the best January in the history of Januaries for the stock market, which goes to show, which proves the point Trump was saying. Trump's policies are working to make the economy better, okay, and they were working, and growth was going through the roof. The only thing stopping it was the Federal Reserve. And they say, well, that's just a Fed. Well, no, it's not just a Fed. The Fed put a cap on inflation being, and if it goes above 2%, they're raising interest rates. Well, let the economy grow a little bit for a few minutes before you go around raising interest rates. I mean, that's ridiculous. So, and then once they said, just by saying, we're not going to raise interest rates, like for a while, just by saying that, the stock market goes through the roof. Why? Because the stock market's reacting to the fact that now that they're not going to raise interest rates, money is cheaper to get. And so when you're investing in a plant and you're looking at, a hard money loan to get the plant started, and then a construction loan to get it started, then turning it into an amortized loan down the road, you factor that in as a cost of doing business, your interest rate. And just 1 percentage point could make or break, starting a new business or start building a new factory or, anything. So by saying, okay, we're not going to raise interest rates anymore, they knew there'd be a lot more investment and a lot more loans being made, and a lot more people taking out loans to start new businesses and new projects. And of course, the stock market reacted, boom, through the roof. The only reason why the stock market was going down is because the Feds were kept raising interest rates. The only reason why the stock market went down, which was proven by the fact that just by saying we're not going to do it, it went back through the roof. So here they say jobs report won't spur Fed moves. The strong and now a lot of people got worried when that jobs report came out, and it was double what had been predicted. They predicted between 150,000 and 170,000 new jobs for the month of January. Well, it came up at 304,000. Well, that's like double 150 and almost double 170,000. So everybody got scared, thinking, oh shit, the Fed's gonna say, the economy's growing too fast again. We better cut down on this, because increase in number of jobs means there are more people, who had 304,000 more people with a job, with a paycheck, that are going to spend money. And they're going to spend money on, consumer products or whatever. And if they spend money on consumer products and increase demand, and supply can't keep up, well, then inflation goes up and the Feds jump in again and, raise interest rates, which, of course, depresses the economy. So, Wall Street Journal is reporting. Thank you again, Wall Street Journal. The strong January employment report offers one promising data point for Federal Reserve officials who are trying to gauge how the U.S. economy weathered increased market volatility and slowing global growth at the end of last year. Fed officials signaled this week that after raising their benchmark interest rate 4 times last year, 4 times they raised interest rates last year. I'm surprised the economy did good at all. They are on hold until further notice. It will take more than one solid employment report for them to move again. Jesus. I guess if you get more than one good report, then maybe they're going to do it. I don't know. It's important to, take this off so I can finish reading that. Boom. There we go. It's important to remember that when the Fed says it is data dependent, it means it is looking, hold on, go to the top of the page, is looking at a broad spectrum of economic and financial information as it decides policy. This doesn't mean it is data point dependent. Thank you. Amen. Economic data and financial markets have been telling 2 different stories about the U.S. economy in recent months. The positive story comes from the labor market, which reflects broad underlying economic strength. Financial markets and the global economy tell a gloomier story. Well, good. I hope they think it's gloomy. I mean, I don't care if it is or isn't. Hopefully the Fed thinks it's gloomy and they won't raise interest rates. Financial markets and the global economy tell a gloomier story. Weakness abroad and concerns about, here we go, trade tensions have squeezed U.S. multinationals and exporters. Manufacturing may be cooling following a slowdown in interest rate sensitive sectors of the economy. Fed officials want more time to determine how these narratives play out over the course of the year. Now, the best part about that report was when they said over the course of the year. So hopefully, raised it 4 times last year. 4 times they raised interest rates. I think it was that's crazy. So hopefully they'll wait a year before they start doing this again. Give the economy a chance to grow. Let inflation go to 4%. You don't have to let it go to 5 if you want to be really cautious, but let it go to 4. 4 is not going to kill anybody. People on fixed incomes get a cost of living adjustment, and 4% between the time the inflation is kicking in and the time they actually have to before the cost of living adjustment kicks in, it's not that much time. I mean, then most people aren't going to really realize a 4% increase in inflation as to what they buy. When they say inflation's going up, it's like consumer products. It's not like milk or eggs or butter. It's not like that. It's not those things going up. And as long as oil prices stay relatively stable, products like groceries and stuff aren't going to go up because a big cost for groceries are the cost of transportation. Moving the products, either on the train or a truck, primarily trucking. So as long as the products, the cost of shipping these products don't go up, then you shouldn't see any relative increase in the price of food. So for the elderly on fixed incomes, they can still eat. Okay, it just means they can't go buy a new iPhone. Maybe the cost of the iPhone goes up. Well, until recently I was on a Samsung 5. I just upgraded because I try not to spend money on things I don't need. I don't care if Samsung tells me I need a new phone. Well, maybe I don't need a new phone. I need a new phone when I need a new phone. I need a new phone because there were documents being sent to me that I couldn't open up on the old phone, and that's my business. I have to receive documents from other attorneys, from the district attorney's office, from the courts, and it wasn't opening up correctly on the older phone because of the new software on everything else. So I had to get an upgrade. But trust me, if I could have been opening those documents, I wouldn't have got a new phone. I would have been just fine with the other phone. I mean, it was a phone. It was working just fine. I was getting my text messages, and which we do a lot when we're in court. We do a lot of text message. Because you can't talk when you're in a courtroom. You're sitting in the audience. I mean, if you're at a counsel table, you can't text, but if you're up there in front of the judge, they kind of don't like that. Like, excuse me, Your Honor, I gotta send a text to my secretary. Now, if you're at the counsel table, like the judge says, hey, we need a new date or something, and, you left your calendar back in the office or something, then, yeah, you call your staff or whatever and find out what's going on. Or you want to confirm something. Like, did you make any appointments this afternoon? Can I stay here, argue out this matter? Judge wants to continue this to the afternoon. And did you make any appointments this morning? Then yeah, you can make a phone call. You can send out a text. But generally, if you're in the audience, though, you can always use your text phone. Which is important. You can stay in touch with your office and other cases and stuff, other clients. So that's actually really good news. You pop over here. Hey, it's me again. Hey. Let's see. Who do we still got in here? Laura Sanders. Let's see. Nunya, Laura, Boltron. Get a Note 9. I did. I got a Note 9. That's what I got. Exactly. Yeah, Voltron, that's what I got. A Note, the Note 9, if I'm not mistaken. But I didn't get the one that had, there are like two types of, on the hard drive. I didn't get the one that had like the super amount of drive space because I didn't need it. I forgot how much it was, but I mean, I don't know. I didn't need that stuff. But there were two levels of hard drive space, and I got the lower one. I can't remember how much it was. I mean, how much the space was. But whatever it was, I'm like, oh, I don't need that much. Whatever it was, I didn't need that much. So that's what I got. But yeah, I like it a lot. It took a little getting used to. I'm still trying to figure out how to get that stupid person who, 128 or 512. Right, I went with the 128. Right, exactly. Yeah, I agree. 128. I mean, 128 gigabytes, or I think that's what it is, right? I can't remember, but yeah, if I need more than that, I don't know what to do. I mean, yeah, I'm just fine with the 128. The only thing is that stupid, like, voice they got on there. I forgot the name they call it. 128 gigabytes, plenty. But what's that voice that you can do, like, on your phone? You can talk into it and it does stuff. They call it by a name. It's kind of like Siri, but it's not. I can't remember what it is, but I tried getting rid of that, and I can't seem to get that off my phone. I don't know, but oh well. But yeah, no, I mean, it takes some getting used to, uh, and then of course, I'm with AT&T, so AT&T always does upgrades and updates and stuff. And I'm glad they did. Normally, I don't like when they do an update, but I like this last one because my phone wasn't acting right, and I guess it was an AT&T issue. And so they must have figured out something was wrong, and so they had to do an update, on it, and they whatever it was. And this update took a long time to load, too. Normally, these updates they go by really quick, uh, and this update took a real long time to load. So whatever it was, it must have been like a really big fix. And I noticed everything looked a lot different after the update. Yeah, Bixby, yeah, that Bixby. I like, I don't need I don't need. It's look. I know everything pretty much just gets recorded anyway and stuff, but I don't need to be actively participating in recording what I'm doing or saying or where I'm located or anything. Oh, you can't get rid of Bixby. Yeah, it's like a bad movie. It's like it's like a bad AI movie we're in. Like, where they're taking over and they're constantly following you and stuff. But yeah, I try to get rid of it, but well, good. I'm glad it wasn't just me then, because the guy when I was getting the phone transferred, transferring the data from the 5 to the 9. He goes, oh, I go, well, I don't need that. And he goes, let me try and get rid of it. And he was like having a hard time. I said, oh, well, don't worry about it. Well, now I know you probably just can't get rid of it at all. So Bixby, it's like my best friend Bixby. Samsung Pay. No, I haven't used that. I'm not even sure what that is, but is it like a PayPal but on Samsung, or what is it? What is that? We got a little delay here, me talking, you writing, because it's a delay coming through the thing. So uh, let's see. Well, Voltron, why don't you just call in? Call in on the. Let me punch the number up. If you want. I mean, you don't want to call in me. You don't have to. It's like, no big deal. You know. But there's the number again. But it's a virtual. Oh, really? Oh, but is it like PayPal though, or like how does it work? 'Cause I pay a lot of bills with PayPal. Oh, no kidding. Really? So what's it linked to your? It's linked to your credit card then? You link it to your bank account or your credit card or something? So you walk up to the ATM machine and yeah, you walk up to the ATM machine, you kind of hold it up, it scans whatever image you have there or something, and then it reads like the credit card being inserted into the machine. I'm assuming that's how it works. Okay, well that's cool. All right. Well, I tell you what, it's been about 2 hours and 45 minutes since I've been on. So I'm probably going to go in and close down the live stream for tonight. I just want to thank everybody who called in. Let me find a good story to end this with on here. Boom. How about that one? Boom, boom, boom. Ah. 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 There we go. Boom. As long as I don't hit this wrong, I'm doing okay here. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I'll leave this headline up. Let's see. This would be a good headline. Boom. And take this one down. And take this one down. Put this one over. And I'm going to leave you guys with some music. And I just want to thank everybody who's been in the chat room, but definitely do it next time. I love geeking out on phones. I tell you what, man, if you want to call in right now, man, that's fine. You can go ahead and call in. You know, I don't care. You can call in if you want. But if you don't want to, hey, totally. All right, guys. Anyway, have a great night. Thanks for everybody who called in. Thanks for everybody in the chat room who participated. Thanks for the moderators who kept an eye on the chat room there. We had to get rid of a few bad actors tonight, but that's okay. It kind of goes with the business. And, you know, anybody out there who's watching now or watching later, if you like the video, hit the like button on it. And if you like it a lot, go ahead and subscribe. And again, just thanks a lot, guys, for everything. Really appreciate the support. And I always have a fun time with this. This is always really good, and I really like discussing the issues with you guys. So anyway, have a good one, and I'll let you go with some music here. Here you go.
Slow. Here comes the fever. Here comes the fever now. Want to go? We gotta take it slow. Here comes the fever. Here comes the fever now. Take it slow. Here comes the fever. Here comes the fever. On to go. We gotta take it slow. Here comes the fever. Here comes the fever. about to eat